And we're recording.
Okay, nice. We're live.
We don't need to clap.
No claps needed.
First episode without a clap.
We're synced. Or the clap, as we discussed on last week's episode.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, so this will be interesting. I wouldn't say this is a ghetto setup.
I think this is way better than... it's going to be way better than how we were doing it.
Yeah, and we can look at each other.
Yeah, that's new.
If we can do eye contact.
Yeah, we can. Well, be careful with the icon.
That's going to make it much better, though, as well.
Hopefully. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we'll get into as fiery debates. Actually, maybe we will. Maybe more fiery.
We definitely will. If the security comes, it's a good sign. That means, or maybe it's a bad sign. We overdid it.
Then we'll have it all on record as well.
Probably going to take about half an hour to get here with Jason's room down in fucking Narnia.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. Like, it's one of those hotels where like the rooms are just not sequential. So as I turn a corner, I'm like, oh, my room would be the next one there, and it's all the way down 3 extra hallways.
You have the best view out of all of us.
I don't know if it's worth though. You know.
Sorry, what?
Well, think about it. We're gonna be in like the studio, in the recording area. Like we're gonna be at the studio, the venue for the rest of the event. Like I get my nice view, very little time to enjoy it.
Yeah, but at least you have the view.
That's fair.
All right, I have to cross the road. The fucking foot pool.
Okay.
Not even the pool.
Oh, not even the real pool.
No, it's just the little the
waiting pool.
the sunbed area.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to be at this hotel. I'm loving it so far. I just ate 2 slices of margarita pizza. Today's pretty wild. But before we get into kind of what's happened so far, Yanko would like to take care of some housekeeping, as it were. So we'll open the floor for Mr. Pounder Bitch.
Yeah. I think it's just, the whole XTAS thing. First of all, maybe I should have just focused more on when I was making the actual tweet because, we've been filming all day here, a lot of obligations around the major, and, I wanted to keep up with the news, but then, even I didn't expect my tweet to be dissected into every single word, and in hindsight, I probably used too harsh of a language, but I stand behind what I said. It feels, to me, the problem with, him just deciding to leave the team is... G2 is not an organization where players decide everything. It's a top-down org. Like they have their stuff sorted in that sense that you can't just decide as players after 2 months, hey, we want to make these changes after you just made changes. Like there's long-term planning, so to speak, at the very least. And for me, it's like, okay, first of all, XTAS, I held him in extremely high regard. He was up there with me with Blade for Coach of the Year. If Navi didn't win everything, I wanted to put XTAS as Coach of the Year last year because he had to work with way less. He had Kyojin as a rookie. Misuta was only in his sophomore year, right? And they had some great results. So I had tons of respect for him. And I thought it was a brilliant pickup for G2. I thought that was going to help elevate them to, being a contender, winning a couple of titles. Things didn't pan out that way. And then, we were hearing throughout that first half of the year, they're not on the same page, right? They're trying to figure it out. They're working on it. And ultimately, they couldn't get on the same page. And someone needs to go. And G2 stuck with the coach, which I think was a good call as well. Like, that's more long-term thinking. And then the changes are made, which, I don't see a universe in which you remove an in-game leader and you bring a new one that the coach doesn't okay. Right? Like,
yeah,
sure.
And then it's like that there's a process to that hiring where, supposedly you're having interviews with the guy or discussing about how you view the game. What style do you want to be on that same page beforehand, right? So I imagine that has happened because if it hasn't, then that's like gross mismanagement sort of. And with all of that, the changes happen, and now, it's going to take time, especially because the styles differ. The players need to get used to it, right? And they had some good showings, good results, and of course, the major was a crushing defeat. But, for you to just quit after that and to leave and say, oh, all these things were not working, then, things like, well, they do things one way, I do it another, like the org or whatever. It's like, well, how didn't that come up in your job interview?
Yeah.
Right? Like you usually the things you do is like, hey, listen, this is the way I want to run the team. I want to build the team. Are you guys okay with that? Are you not? If they say yes, then you start. And listen, if they say yes and it doesn't turn out to be that way after 3 or 4 months, leave immediately.
Yeah.
That's fine, right? It's just for me, the timing of the change, and I'm sure even the second change, right? They were like, it came from the top down more so. And it just feels like kind of a really terrible timing for the players to be stuck and,
It feels wasted now, doesn't it?
And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that the player changes were made and the team, didn't agree, that was forced on the players. I'm not saying that. They have to have okay that they are the ones who ultimately have to play with the other guys and be teammates, right? But I just think that's what kind of bothers me a little bit. It feels like, you were definitely a big part of some of these changes, and things aren't working out right now, and then you're just leaving. I don't know. A lot of people are trying to present it like, hey, things aren't working out, so he leaves what he's supposed to do. But I think...
I would have stuck out the season.
Yes, if it has to be, if it's just, it's 9 months, 10 months after he joined the org, and there were already some roster changes. Like, if he rolled out this roster for, like, 6 months, right? Like, next major cycle, really, okay, you failed this one, it stings, it's fucking horrible, but there's a lot of tournaments, Counter-Strike to be played and so on, and then it doesn't work still, okay, then at that point, you've done all you could, you've tried everything with the roster, and it's fine. I know he's saying, like, I don't want to steal paychecks and stuff, which,
Interesting
it just
standpoint.
sounds, it just,
I thought that was a bit over exaggerated too, the stealing a paycheck part.
Yeah,
I
well,
was confused by that one.
Like, you're part of one of the biggest organizations, and you clearly a commanding coach, right? He's not one of these, we don't look at him like a cheerleader coach. Well, I look at him like he's a bit of everything coach. I think the thing for me, and the reason, and I know the community sentiment is different, and that's fine. They can have their fucking opinions. But I think that for me, and we've discussed this, is we thought G2 were playing decent Counter-Strike. They just failed at the qualifier for the biggest event, which sure, you think there has to be consequences or heads have to roll. Like we talked about the context of the team only being together for a short period of time, the fact that they chose to make these roster changes, the fact that those roster changes are apparently connected to the coach and the old in-game leader not getting not seeing the game the same way. So it's like okay, this failed, but now you're leaving. You're not going to stick it out with the boys and see if you can turn the ship around and see the type of Counter-Strike we saw you play during EPL. You don't think you can play that Counter-Strike because that was good Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I think for me it was like this whole thing is basically just puts like a little magnifying lens on, I think, where we've kind of been trying to identify some of the problems within this team not being able to reach their full potential, right? And all the conversation since he's joined has been, as you mentioned, Yanko, previously we're not on the same page between star player, coach, in-game leader. Bring in this new in-game leader, still not on the same page in terms of how you want to prepare and what kind of long-term vision you have. And that seems to me to be like, this is just a team that seems like it's still like pieces. Like they haven't actually come together and coalesced into any kind of meaningful team.
And it's so funny to me, like people are calling me out, like you were a coach and now you're coming back and you're just criticizing everyone. Dude, if anyone has sympathy for coaches, it's me, right? I know how hard it is, how difficult it can be. And, it pains me to say it, but also things like, well, the team didn't really, I don't know, maybe accept some of my ideas, or they didn't really want to follow something. I mean, I learned this the hard way in MIBR. You need to set the authority and set yourself up from the get-go. Like, there's no, and because it is intimidating sometimes to come into a team, where you have someone like Fallen and Cold Zero, right, who accomplished so much, or a team with like, Nico, who is an amazing player and has, very high ambitions and wants to win trophies, lift trophies and whatnot. But if you don't do that and you let the players maybe like, bully you around and have their way early on, it's very hard to come back and reestablish that sort of authority and bring back the reins, right? So if you're hearing things like that, well, unfortunately, right, I think that's also like up to you. The org has to have your back. Yeah. But again, from what I know and have been around, G2 is that sort of an org. Like, they give the power to the coach. He has, their backing. Like, he can make the decisions, and also the players are let known that that's how things are. They can't expect that's how it is, right? So it's just strange to hear that he didn't have that sort of an experience.
But Yanko, you're Nico's friend. Everything you say is invalidated because of that one sentiment.
That everything is invalidated, but I wish people would also, instead of just going for that every single time, think about it. If you neglect that, I'm talking about the guy who's been a top 5 player or a top 10 player in the world. There's not a higher skilled player in our game that has less trophies, less achievements, right? And it's for different reasons. Was he always the perfect teammate and the perfect guy? No. Was simple? Yeah. No, right? But I think Nico has also matured. I think definitely the time he spent as an in-game leader has helped him a lot to understand like the team dynamics and so on. And listen, from what I know and see, and a lot, also think about why when you interview players, and we do this bit to make your team and pick your player, why is Nico in every single player's team? Yeah. Right? Like, these players also know to look more behind just the raw skill and whatnot. They played with him in FPL, in games, in teams, and so on, right? Like, you guys need to get off that sort of a circle jerk, right? Like, I hope that, people really don't think that I would let my personal relationships, right, affect what I do and what I say. You know, I hope that's not the case. I try that not to be the case. I am obviously definitely I get more emotional when I talk about them and their team and so on, but I try to stay objective, and I like to think I am objective.
Well, do we want to continue on this, or do we want to rebrand? I know we shelved the conversation. We could call our show Talking G2.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot. That's not bad.
Yeah. Talking G2.
I just want to say, because I have no way to do this other than this way, Jason, you have to take the notes for the timestamps.
I'm mentally taking them. I'm mentally taking them.
But you don't see the times.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, Jason, you just got to
just open a notepad or something.
Do you want an actual notepad?
Just do general times, it's fine. Just so we help the
someone
listeners.
has to do it, Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've done the housekeeping. We've spoken about this. Jason, do you want to talk about it?
The only real point I had to make, just touching it, because I know, Yank, when you talked about the struggles of a coach, like a lot of those same ones, and I know I read like the unofficial account that someone put on Reddit of like the loosely translated from
his
like
stream,
a stream.
yeah.
I read through some of those, and I was pretty sympathetic, having gone through a lot of those similar experiences coaching Liquid. So I very much understand what he's kind of the angle that comes from that, for whatever truth in those translations there are, especially when you talk about it's hard to be that coach and institute your idea when you meet resistance from players at every step in terms of what you're trying to bring into things. That can be extremely disheartening, but also on some level, I have sympathy for him for it, and it's thinking about my own experience, I have sympathy for myself in that way. But that's the job. That's the job you accept, and that's just kind of part of the bullshit that you have to put up with and deal with.
It's still a role that's evolving as well, right? We're still learning about it all the time, and the thing is, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So of course, we're going to have to speculate about certain bits of information. And I think the fact that the changes happened. We know that he was a part of why the changes happened, at least in the conversation that was out there around it. It just feels, and I think the reason it feels a bit off for me is because I had faith, and maybe him leaving is showing that he doesn't have faith, which is sad, because I thought they could play good Counter-Strike, but
especially because a lot of the things that he had said when Hooksy was brought in, were kind of coming to fruition, right? Like we had the whole, the statement of hey, we need to find a way to unleash m0NESY, not just in the clutches that he's been amazing with, but he needs to be unleashed in the early portions of rounds. We need to get more impact from m0NESY as the round is developing, not just towards the end of it. And I felt like we saw that out of G2. We saw some of those good things, and we saw Hooksy's performances increase and progress in a positive trend as well, leading into the major. And
which was always going to take time, mind you. The fact that, look, to play as abysmally as he did, that's like the lowest the bar goes. But to expect him to now be speaking in English with a whole new team, playing well immediately, people are fucking morons. That's the truth. People are fucking idiots.
Man, I think we've established by now you can't expect to make two changes or whatever it is and be a #1 team in the world in 3 months.
But it's
impossible.
People's minds change, Yanko. It never used to be that way. Back in the day, people would understand. We'd go, there's going to take time. It's like, they have to win.
Yeah, but people are giving you bad examples as well. They're putting FaZe as an example.
Yeah.
FaZe didn't become good with the ROPS addition. They
were already good.
They were already good. Like they have everything set up to be good, and then that was the one change that elevated them to really great status, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone got used to Kerrigan and the system and everything. They were building team chemistry as well, creating a good atmosphere, and then you just slot in a guy who's insane and fits perfectly.
Well, they already made the role for him.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And that's how you got there. Look at how long it took Navi. It was like this change a little bit better, this change a little bit better. Then you have to change the play style. It's not like then you get, and then finally you unlock it, right? And for G2, the problem is that they were #2, same like Vitality. They were like there, 2 and 3. G2 had all those finals against Navi last year, and then you're thinking because you're there, you just have to jump from there to #1, right? But depends on the changes you make. So
one step forward, two steps back, right? That's how the old adage goes. All right,
yeah.
Let's park the bus on this. Let's talk a little bit about our experiences, I suppose, so far. Yanko and I came here on the same plane. Jason, you're the latest arrival.
Not the latest. Sadicus just got in recently, I believe.
Okay, you're one of the latest.
Well, the latest arrival that matters.
Well, look, Jason, in terms of the three of us right now, you're the latest arrival.
It's weird not being at an event and not being jet lagged.
Well, yeah, because what's the time
It's
difference?
so strange. 2 hours ahead here than what I live.
That's pretty nice. The 2 hours ahead here, where you're from. It's
Yeah,
2 hours
two
ahead.
hours behind where I'm from.
Okay.
Here's
I am
Yeah.
so confused.
Yeah, I'm with you.
it's
I know geographically what's going on, but you just said it in such a confusing way.
It's 8:30 p.m. right now. Where I'm from, it is 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
there you
yeah.
go.
So so for you, it's like
So
I'm
we're
just going
ahead
to go
here.
to bed a little bit earlier. That's it. You just got to bed a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and even 2 hours.
And you're old, so that fits you perfectly.
Yeah, we see you getting out. I saw you with a fucking chainsaw, mate. What are you doing? Chopping down trees?
I was having a good time. It's firewood season. Yeah.
Ah.
Took the chainsaw. My dad lives a little bit out, and my parents live a little bit out in the woods. So.
Jason hates the environment.
Yeah, we got
were you
out there,
raised in the woods?
Some dead trees. Some dead trees had fallen down, so I was like, I can get a little Rocky montage going.
Yeah, you look. You've been. Looks like the dogs are out. You know, I've seen you enjoying yourself at home.
Yeah, it's nice. It's fall. It's my favorite season of the year.
But now you're back with us, and we're in the southern hemisphere now.
Yes,
and,
sir.
It's balmy 85 degrees out.
Do we talk about the business class flight we had, Yanko, or do we? You know, did you go business?
No, I upgraded to premium economy.
Okay, I upgraded to premium economy, and then I had the opportunity to upgrade to business for very cheap, mind you.
Really, that's nice.
I took it with
looked
both
at the-
hands.
I looked at the prices to upgrade to business class on my trip down. I think it was like $3,000, and I was just like, "That's a Sydney upgrade.
Yeah,
that's not a."
mine
That's
was
not a
nowhere
big-
near
That's a nothing upgrade. I'm not spending that much money on an upgrade, man.
Yeah, no. Mine was the upgrade cost 360 euros.
What? How do you guys get that?
I have no
It's
idea.
because he was already in premium, and the flight was overbooked in economy. So then they offer people to
Yeah,
go a
bump up
class
a
higher.
level.
There was still a couple of seats left in business, so that's how they kind of, instead of having to make someone
I have
go the next day.
I have an opportunity to upgrade to business class on my trip back from my last leg, which is Chicago to Grand Rapids, which is a 45-minute flight, and that would be $1,000. It says.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, and I was just
Yeah,
like, "Who's
nah,
paying that price?"
Yeah, nah. I'm okay. Well, did you watch any movies on the plane, Jason?
Yeah, I did actually. Well, I went back. I watched Zero Dark 30 for the first time ever. I don't know if you
Ooh,
guys-
that's
yeah.
a good one.
That's
That's a
haven't
good one.
seen
I love
it.
it. I love
that's
it.
Jessica Chastain. That's about the hunt for Osama bin Laden.
Okay. All right.
But
What
it's
else?
very well done. It's about. It's
Feels
with
like
the
we
same
all kept
director.
some type of American war theme here, didn't we?
It's the same director that did
I don't
the
know.
one with the Iraq Oscar one. The director is Catherine Bigelow, but the name of the movie is
Here we go.
Jeremy Renner is in it. You have no idea which movie I'm talking
The bomb
about.
diffuser.
Yes.
One? Okay.
Hurt Locker.
Hurt
Yeah.
Locker. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one too.
Yeah. That's it. I watched on the plane. I watched Saving Private Ryan,
Nice.
I
That
watched
sounds classic.
Classic.
Uncharted.
Nice.
And
How
then
was
I-
that? Tom Holland one? I heard it was crap, but I never played the game, so
It was fine. I never played the game either. It was fine to watch. It was
Okay.
watchable.
An enjoyable
It
experience.
was watchable.
Yeah.
And finally, after my nap, it was about 4 hours sleep actually. I watched A Few Good Men. And I had
I love
never
that.
seen that
That's a
movie in
good
its
flick.
entirety up until that point. I'd seen
love
the
that
movie
movie.
completely,
too.
but never in one sitting. And yeah, so it gives a different meaning to Red Flags.
You fuck with the wrong Marine.
Yeah.
It-
That's an Aaron Sorkin
That's Red
classic.
Flag, Code Red.
You should
Code
get
Red.
into some of Aaron Sorkin's other stuff. He's he's a great film writer.
Yanko
TV
did
writer.
indeed, because he tweeted about it or he put it on Instagram. He did indeed watch both Top Gun movies because I was
My
watching
man.
And I was
with one
thinking of
eye.
you, Jason.
Yeah, you were. I saw it as well. You tagged me in that. Yeah.
But that was about the excitement of the flight. I didn't love the food. I won't lie.
Can you ever love the?
It was
food?
okay.
filling.
Yeah, it was
It's filling.
fine.
It was good.
It was fine. There was more meals than I expected. But yeah, all in all, so we're here. We're in Rio. Yanko and I have been doing some content. People may have seen the
lot
villa
of
we've been
content,
doing
yeah.
the photos from.
Yeah.
Some of it should be released, or at least one of the pieces, as far as we're aware, should be released tomorrow. So if people are listening to this probably in a few hours from now at this other show, hopefully it's funny. It's meant to be a funny piece.
I think it's gonna be okay. I feel
Yeah?
like
We filmed a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I
but
heard
it
there
was
was
a lot.
dance routine.
Hey, yeah. Well, actually, that's okay. Yeah, maybe.
Some hype speeches too.
Yeah, there's a bit of excitement going
Okay.
on there. Yeah,
Little teaser for the crowd.
couple of gags at a few teams' expenses.
Some Easter eggs there.
Yeah, so people who might enjoy that. And then other than that, today was the big media day with all the teams, right? So we've got 16 teams here at the moment for the Challenger stage. We've got, we had different sets. We had single interviews. We had group interviews. We did some shit to start off the day, the three of us plus Kassad. You had the teams coming through, hero shots, all that good shit.
Me and Jason did a great piece, sort of
I
that
saw the photo.
long form thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Tackle and Cole from 00 Nation and Fallen and Fur from Imperial, and it was mostly like just in general about Brazil and Counter-Strike and history, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but
It's great.
what I liked the most, it felt like for all of them, like they're in such a good space mentally, right? Like they understand that they just need to kind of enjoy the moment, right, and not get too overwhelmed. Even by, even Fur and Fallen, like we've practiced like so much. Like we we have the tactics, we have like the game set up. It's just about sort of figuring out like mentally how to come into games. Like, and both teams said they've been working a lot with their sports psychologists,
Okay.
right, because of all the distractions and all the noise around. But no, it's just like everyone seems to be really happy like where they are at the moment, even in their careers and for this tournament. And that's what just, for me, like
Nice to hear.
being like,
Yeah.
well, I coached everyone except for Taco out
Yeah.
of those four,
Yeah.
right? So it's great to see them just like being in a good place, It was a feel-good moment.
And it was cool. They all seemed to have like a very real understanding of the fact that this Rio Major was just kind of bigger than all of them.
Yeah.
They were like, this is the culmination of like a huge rise and a huge thing for the Brazilian scene, and a lot of the focus from them seemed to be on the fact that it's not about them as the players. This is about the opportunity presented to the Brazilian scene and all that they've done for that. So very much felt like they were very comfortable where they were within the moment.
Yeah, it's been nice as well here, right? Like I obviously there's a lot of talk about it being in Brazil, right? This is the
And just sorry, we got a taco story. There's another taco, so you don't want to miss that. There's a taco story in there, and it's a
That's
classic.
a strong taco
yeah?
story.
Okay, he saved a good one, did he? Nice.
Strong taco story.
Okay, I know there was a lot of media for the players, right? And towards the end of the day, it obviously starts getting a little bit long. Like everybody's coming in and out. But I left this morning at 9:30 with Yanko,
Yes.
and
an
I
outrageous
finished
day,
doing
mate.
shit at about 7 p.m. And now we're recording at just past 8. So it's a long one, and then I'm back there tomorrow on the first shuttle with Freya at 7:30. So it's going to be some fun stuff. But this is the
Well,
thing,
you and
right?
her need the most makeups.
That's true. But this is the thing with an event like this is it's the fucking major.
Yeah, we don't care about call times of the major. Do we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What can we hear? Who's playing something?
Something's open.
I don't know.
Oh no, maybe my.
I think that's you. I think it's you.
What are you playing, Yanko?
I don't know, man.
You watching some sport or some
Dude,
shit?
at least it wasn't porn.
Sounds like commentary. Oh, we've had a couple of those.
Yeah, we've had a couple of those in there.
All right.
In the shuttles.
That
What were you
should be
watching?
fun. I think it's just my tab open with the NFL.
Oh, okay.
It would have been
It
so
did sound
funny
like
if that
sport.
was porn. I would have fucking died. I would have lost.
Dude, I need a bigger screen for that. It's just an iPad. I do that on my laptop. Come on, man.
What were we talking about? Long day. Long
Long
day.
days.
Yeah. Long day. So, I just scoffed down some pizza. Thanks to you, Jason. Thank you very much for that.
No worries.
Where else are we at in terms of things?
Well, I think what you said, right? It's long
Hugo
days.
almost drowned.
Hugo almost
Yeah,
drowned.
yeah, he did get
Yeah,
pulled
the-
out. He had a little emergency buggy.
He had a
coming
little
by,
Baywatch moment.
honking the horn, blowing the whistle.
And oopsie daisies, as we like to call it.
We went out there in that water. You got to work hard to get out there in
Oh,
the water
yeah?
here. This is no joke. Like Malta, I was like sorry, Yanko. I was going out every day. I was just walking by the water. I was hopping in whenever I could, and it was chill over there by the rocks. And you get here, and it's like, that ocean is trying to pull you
yeah.
out into it. It's really trying to bring you out into the open sea.
I tweeted about hiring a bodyboard today, and there's a guy that is helping us out, Gabriel. Did I say that kind of okay? I don't know.
It sounded great to my American
Thanks, man.
ears.
But he's helping us out. He got me some links for places and shit. So I want to get out in the water. But it's obviously all about the games, right? And this is the key thing. There's hype. We can feel it.
Yeah, man. It's obviously bigger than anything we've ever done. I mean, having 3,000-4,000 people, whatever it is. We saw the setup and the stage.
Looks
and
sick.
It looks sick. The desk and all of that looks great. And I think you can feel with all of us. I mean,
There's a good vibe going on.
it's just like no one really cares. It's just we'll do whatever you want us to do.
Yeah.
Like I'll do the last games and the first games. I'll do
All
10
the
hours of
games.
content, right? Like we just want to do all we can to make this major the best it can be, because it feels like just with the crowd and the passion that Brazilians show for everything, especially Counter-Strike, right? Like it's going to be great, and we all have this feeling we need to do it justice.
Yes.
Right. And it's different. Sometimes you do these tournaments, like they're different, but the major is special, and especially and this one here, because it was supposed to be in 2020 and it
Yeah.
was getting delayed, and we got like a lot of these Brazilian teams actually managing to qualify, which is awesome. So there's a lot of hype. All we need to do is just not fuck it up, really, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah. Well, from game one, we're going to have an audience for at least one of the matches, right? We got an A stream and a B
Yep.
stream we saw today. It doesn't feel like, looking at it, it feels like the resources into both of these streams, just for people back home, like, maybe they turn on a B stream or a C stream and you're like, oh, this is not up to the standard, but this looks like it should all be absolutely banging, right? And then the fact that the fans, I don't know if the fans will be there for game one. I don't think there's any Brazilian teams for game one. It's game
We
two,
changed
right?
it. We changed it.
Oh, they changed it?
They changed it because they had mouz and outsiders as game one, and what they said was we want to
Oh.
get some people, we want to get some Brazilians on the stage for the opening segment. So they switched it to 9Z versus who's 9Z? playing?
GamerLegion?
GamerLegion. Yep, that's going to be the opening game on the
It's
main
gonna be a
stream.
sick game.
Okay.
So they switched it up so they could have there's NQZ.
Yes,
is
and Zach.
And Zach are the two Brazilian players. So they wanted to get the crowd involved right from the get go. So I think that's a cool change. So
Okay.
right out of the gates, we'll see how that crowd goes.
Nice. It's going to be a Monday morning.
Can I
bro.
ask you a quick question, Chad? This is probably the worst time for this question.
Yeah.
Are we sure about these levels here on this little thing?
What do you mean?
Like, you get the 10 on mine is on the inside, the 10 on yours is on the outside. So,
So look at the little arrow here. See this little arrow?
yeah.
So that number needs to be in line with the arrow, right? So there's an arrow here, 7, arrow here, 7.
As long as you feel good, I feel good.
Well, it's all different mics.
You both sound good to me, though.
We all have different
Yeah,
mics, so that's the thing as well. Like Yanko's mic is much lower than mine, and for us to get same levels, I have to be higher.
I'm not an audio expert, but all of our things on the meter are falling within the same few numbers. So
Well, that's fine.
I'm content.
Sounds like we got Ben Cochran here.
That's right. We might have to call him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's probably working quite hard right now.
You'd imagine.
Poor Ben.
So yeah.
But was there any other stuff that stuck out? Like I think the vibe for everybody is really important right now. I think that's a key.
I think the big thing for me was like I remember when I was just doing the run through and everything and just seeing how ESL has set everything up. Like majors are always going to have maybe a few issues in the first few days that was
Normally the way.
But I mean, compared to I remember there's the big uproar at Pro League and at the RMR about the community being very concerned about production for the major.
Yes.
Everything I saw was like, don't be concerned.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is people
no.
go...
He's just
No, but I said this as well. I think I brought this up. I think I mentioned it somewhere. Like, I think I said on HLTV Confirmed, right? Like, people are concerned about the production. Don't. Like, I'm not going to put my fucking reputation on the line. But the thing is, Pro League, if you missed the memo, clearly wasn't a high priority event, right? That's clear. That was very fucking clear, right? ESL made that clear to the world. It wasn't a high priority event. No matter what they say, the end product showed exactly that. This here is the fucking major, the first one ever in Brazil. One of the biggest. Look at this fucking team we've got going on right here. It could go down as one of the biggest majors of all time, just from the fact that this right now like is not. When I say setting a bar, I don't think it's going to set a bar that will consistently be in every single Counter-Strike event we do. But for the pinnacle, when it's available, this type of an event will be that. It'll be referred to because we have the ability to have the scale of event that we're talking about and looking at here in Brazil because of the crowd, right? If we went to somewhere else, we couldn't have 4,000 people fucking 4 days a week with the Monday starting a game at 11. But we can do that here. And I think that this, hopefully, if everything goes well, will leave a nice taste in people's mouths, especially for ESL events going into next year, where hopefully a lot of those dramas we have for Pro League get sorted.
We were talking about this a little bit in the green room. Like, name another country where you think we could pull off a 2-week-long event, or let's just say major, 2-week-long major, where you could have a crowd for all 3 stages of like. Well, I mean, this is, I think, not capacity, but let's just say it's around 4K. I think it's like 3 to 5 is the season.
Yeah, they don't give us exact numbers.
Yeah.
So.
But, like, name another region that you think we could realistically go to and say, hey, we're going to have, it's going to be 16 event days for this tournament across 2 weeks?
There's no way we could have this many people.
That's not even physically possible.
There's 12 tournament days.
I did the math wrong.
Yeah.
I did the math wrong.
If I had to give
4.
you a name, right, I'd maybe say Copenhagen because Malmo's across the bridge as well. But it would have to be max, like, 2K people, right? It can't be like too many people.
2K even seems like a lot. Like if we could get
because I'm thinking like we do Pro League finals, we used to do them in Odense, and then that was like fine, but that's a bit further away. So if it
was only 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, and it's also expensive. I was gonna say like this could be useful. For example, I think Cologne could do this, but not on the smaller scale, like 500 people, somewhere 6-8 up to 1,000 people. I think. Cologne might be able to pull it off because it's important also for people. Okay, Rio is special, but like doing a major in Antwerp, right? Like there's no history there. For Cologne, there's history, there's proof of concept. Like there's people returning visitors, and then the word of mouth. Also, anyone who's been there, I guess most people have had a great experience, right? And that helps a lot. That's why Cologne. People are saying, "Oh, make Cologne the major because it's so good." No, that
doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need to be, right? Yeah. Like it's a great event on its own. Put it somewhere else. So.
Yeah, I even had to redo a line in content today. Frank made me redo a line.
Really?
Because I accidentally called Cologne a major.
Shit. Oops. Oh.
I was like back at the Cologne major final. Oh, God damn it.
I hope Frank has something to eat.
Yeah, he probably needs it.
Yeah, just for everybody playing at home, Frank, who we're referencing here, he is, I don't know his exact title, but he is, let's just call him the king of content.
He's the content guru.
Yeah.
He runs it all.
So Frank's in charge of...
He's the chief content.
Basically everything you see on the screen, right? I guess this would be a nice little moment for us to talk about, like they did the trailer, they did the Brazil thing that you two were involved quite heavily in.
Those are so hype, like those trailers that what Alex does with the Daniel Hagelin guy, and I can't remember the other, Xeno something on Twitter. It's just... Xenoxen?
Yeah.
Xenoqen.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, you guys.
He knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, right. And, it's just like the script that Alex does and the way he talks is just so hype. And the guys that do an amazing job on following it up with frags, right? And also, for example,
footage.
The frag for that moment. I can't remember which one. And then you see the Nico Deagle, but from Simple's POV.
Yeah.
Like that, you always see, you've seen Nico's POV 10,000 times.
Yeah.
But you've maybe once or twice seen Simple's POV. And then you also see how fast he is, like to react in that way. And just, we were watching it in the villa before it was public. They sent it to Alex, and we were all getting goosebumps, man. We're just standing there for 10 minutes, like glued to the screen.
It's a long trailer as well.
Yeah, that's like the obsession piece.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we've been doing that now since 2020, right? This is the thing. The shit I read on these fucking threads, I gotta start reading the internet. These people, man, I'm not even gonna reference the shit they say, but it's like, oh, they're doing this now. It's like, no, we've been doing this since 2020. I know that there's some people out there who are trying to make you believe something about ESL, but if you actually fucking look, right, you can see that this quality, especially in that regard, not with Pro League, that was shit. All right, we get that. But the quality of like a Katowice or a Cologne and what's been around it since 2020, since we've been, have been able to do this type of stuff, it's been high quality.
Yeah, and to talk about Frank, praise him a little bit more. I remember when we were discussing like the Brazil piece and all of that stuff, and you guys told me how you kind of envisioned it.
Yeah, the outline for that Brazil documentary.
Yeah, and then he's saying like we have a great bit here where we're gonna actually use your statement from the 2016 final of Katowice. So he or someone somehow went back to their grand final of Katowice, watched the test segment, and saw me say, like I think they could make it here, like it's been leading up to that, blah, 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 blah. And then it just wasn't the time yet, right? And then Columbus was next.
Yeah.
And they won it. But, the level of attention to detail and the dedication to like do the best job they can, that piece was amazing as well. I really, enjoyed, I think it did justice to like kind of bringing the Brazilian CS closer to other people and also just celebrating it for the Brazilian fans. So we had that, we have the Alex piece, and then there was a 4-minute like group preview as well, which was also like sort of hypey, a little bit shorter. So props to ESL. I mean, for this one so far, like it's been spot on in those like up, we were always saying like hyping up the tournament as it's coming closer.
Well, we also have, I guess, not only that side of things, like it seems like a bit of an ESL dick sucking situation.
Session?
Is that what I said?
Session?
Yeah, that's the right thing. Okay. Yeah, regardless. But like we can only talk about like what's here, right? We have a fucking have you been in the gaming room that they have for us?
I have not yet.
There's
actually.
32 fucking computers in there. It looks like Katowice from 2014's group stage. No G up. Like the gymnasium with the square and everyone.
I remember that.
That's what it is for us because we have so many talent here. I think we have 26 because I don't know if people at home know this, but Dinko and Hawker are here. Yeah. Right. You might actually see Hawker. Hashtag spoiler. You might see Dinko at some point too.
They're like the Hollywood of the talent team. You got to send them in reserve when someone goes down.
Yeah, so they're here. They're going to be contributing in different ways.
Top Gun reference.
Ah, okay, yeah, Hollywood.
Yeah,
I didn't register. I thought they say Hollywood.
The AG one.
Hollywood. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, what else we got going on? This hotel. I'm not going to say the hotel name. That's the last thing we need to do here. But like, there's 3 restaurants in the hotel. Breakfast is fucking banging.
I think someone's already going to find it based off of that.
Oh, dude, someone knew it on Twitter immediately.
Yeah, from the picture I put up, which didn't show anything.
Yeah, I even tried to throw him for like a little bit of a loop.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was a good attempt.
It didn't work.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else has been good, but that's about it so far. We haven't really done a lot just
The
yet.
beach was great yesterday when I got in. We had like a little bit of the talent crew. Yanko went to the gym, but there were like 10 of us that went over to the beach.
Paula came down.
Yeah.
Alan was there. Maui came.
The guys on the beach were bringing us beers and ice for a little bit. It was great.
Yeah. Trace was his birthday yesterday. It was Kassan's birthday today.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, Yanko told me in the shuttle.
I got a message.
Sorry, Kassan.
We still have a couple of hours.
Kassan. It was all good.
Yeah, he'll hear it in the show. No, he's not.
And someone's birthday is tomorrow. I think someone said it's Crony's, but Scrawny said in shuttle it wasn't, that someone was lying to me, but I think he was trolling me. So
well, I can check. Hold
someone's
on.
birthday.
Let me go to Scrawny's Twitter right now. I'll bring this up right now. But so here's the deal. We have to be up quite early. Wait, no, he's born. Scrawny's born the 22nd of June.
Okay, someone was lying.
Okay, so I don't know whose birthday it is, but we can check. Kinga will know. Now look, I have to be up at like 6 a.m.
So let's get into the matches for tomorrow.
Yeah. And Jason has to be up pretty early as well.
Yep.
And this is what everybody's here for, right? We've done a nice preamble. We've talked about all the good stuff, but let's focus in on the matches, right? So tomorrow, just for the format for everybody playing at home, it's the Swiss system, but it won't be like the RMRs. Oh no, I don't need to say it. It's all good. You can tell me the matches. But just so everybody knows, it's the same Swiss situation. Best of ones is the establishing games, and then best of threes is the progression or elimination matches. But tomorrow, 2 best of ones will be played at the same day.
That's the big difference from the RMR, which I didn't realize almost until we went live. It's like it's always like you play both of your games on day one. So there's so much on the line for the whole
Yeah.
run potentially, right? Like in that first day, because you can be 2-0 or you can be 0-2, as simple as that, and you
And
can
the
get some
pressure's on.
momentum. And I think that means a lot to these Brazilian teams. Like they could catch on fire. And listen, after that interview we did with them today, Jason, like I have a lot more faith in the.
Oh shit!
In the
Should we go
both-
back and do our PICKEMS,
both
please?
Brazilian
Yeah,
teams,
no.
man, like especially Imperial, because you guys had Imperial making it. I would have rather gone for 0-0 Nation
I actually felt the other way.
or
funny
9Z. You had less confidence in them after the
Yeah.
podcast?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
What?
Funny
Why?
enough. Well, you do yours, and then I'll.
Well,
do
I'm
mine.
saying because they feel like in such a good zone mentally,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they feel like they're all set, and that's how you get the most out of your players. That's how they play at their peak level when they're in the zone, like when they're
Sure.
look good, feel good, play good, and so on. And if Fallen can play the way he did in that
Qualifying game against
in the end
Complexity.
in overpass, right,
Yeah.
on the CT side, and Fur can do his own thing, then Imperial has a good chance of making it. The reason why I didn't have him going through is because I don't think there are the chances are high for that happening, but now
They sold you.
who knows? I mean, they're still lose to Vitality, and then after that, who knows?
See, I took it the other way when they were saying stuff like that, where they were just like, it's not always. They were very much like, look, it's not always about the results. It's not always about chasing that win. You obviously want to win at all times, but a lot of it is about the process and the steps you're taking as a team
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And that's great to hear, and that's all very positive stuff. But for me, when I was listening to that, there was a part of my brain that was just like, they're kind of already accepted that they're probably not moving on. Is what that kind of felt like
Okay.
to me,
Okay.
Like that felt very much like they were just saying, okay, slim chance that we make it into Legend stage. If we do, awesome. And and look, I don't want this to sound like I'm thinking that they're not going to be playing as hard as they possibly can, because we know the quality of these players and these people as competitors. They're going to be, but it felt very much like it was kind of like a come down to reality moment where it's like, we had to battle to get here. It's very unlikely we're moving on. Let's just make sure we're enjoying this ride at the Rio Major.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess just take everything as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And we may as well start with this Imperial versus Vitality matchup here, right?
Sure.
Because we're on this topic right now. I think the thing is, and it's hard to see, but there's always an opportunity, right? That Vitality do start slow, right?
Yeah.
Like, and if there is a crowd, and if there is a capacity of the crowd, now we know that there's very experienced players on that roster, so you're not worried about Vitality shrinking in the moment, but they're gonna be a little
Chad,
magic.
just go a year back in time. Stockholm Major,
Yeah.
they're 0-2 after the first day.
Okay.
And it's the famous Apex talking to Zai was saying, if you don't start
That's right, yeah.
playing, we're not going to make it. We won't.
Yeah.
We're going to be out. Right? And he turned it on and they got better. And then in the quarterfinal, they actually had a decent series against Navi
That's right.
in the end, right?
And that might be one of the few criticisms I think you could level at Zaiwu as a player, is that sometimes it feels like, he doesn't, he's almost like the smiling, the smiling dealer.
You want
of
him to be
death.
more
Like,
mean,
Yeah,
right?
This
you
is
want
when
him
we
to have
want
a
the
little bit
ego,
more attitude.
right?
And you go back to, remember with the XTAZ leaving on that stream, the comments again, if you're going to trust the translation, he even kind of threw that out there into the world where he's just like, look, Zaiwu's a freak, but there's a lot more he can be doing as a player and in that team to make sure that they're actually qualifying and getting some of these bigger trophies and getting some of these deeper runs there. So I don't think this game in particular is anything to worry about, but I think you have to hold Zaiwu at some point and say, look, you're great, you're amazing. No one can ever be like mad at you because you're not really any kind of like public figure that's throwing anything out there, but we need to see some of that attitude at some point translate into the game and into Vitality's
Sure,
results.
Yeah. Look, he's still a young lad, right? How old's Zaiwu now? What is he, 23?
Well,
22?
no, younger. So his birthday he was born on the day Counter-Strike was released.
So he's 20.
we celebrated 20 years
He's
this
20,
year or
yeah.
back or
This year.
last year? This year, so
Yeah,
he's 20. Yeah.
Zaiwu's only 20. So he still has a long way to
21.
go. 21?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
21.
All right. Yeah, but we've still got a long way to go, right? So in the sense of that attitude and stuff that we're talking about here, there's still an opportunity for that to grow in, but it has to come at some point.
Dude, it's crazy to think that we saw him. I didn't even think about it at the time. Remember the interview we did with Freya at the London
4
Major?
years
for the
ago.
Village?
Yeah.
That was 4 or 5 years ago now.
Four.
That was 2017.
2018.
And
18.
London was 2018?
2018.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was there with them
Yep.
at VR.
yeah, it's come a long way, but it's come a long way, right?
That's
4
just
years.
crazy to think he was 17.
I had this today. I was outside, I was doing some interview stuff, and we're out. I don't know. I've been chatting to Dustin a little bit. He's a cool lad, and he goes, "I googled you." I go, "Oh yeah." He goes, you're old. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm 33. And he's like, yeah, you're old. I'm like, but you act young. I'm like, well, I don't know if I act young. I'm just.
You don't act young at all. You act old.
I feel like if I
act older than you are.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Well, he doesn't know that. And I was like, well, how old are you? And he told me. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. But well, I don't know where I was going with this. It's just a fun little anecdote about me. No, but this is the thing. Like, you think about that. We were back in Berlin 2019 when that team were in the grand final. Right, and 2019 was fucking 3 years ago. Like, how quick has the time gone? And then I'm reflecting on this, and it's something that I think I'm talking about in the show tomorrow. But reflecting about this, like where we started, when we started the very first major, like 2013 was an auditorium, 2014 was a gymnasium, and then obviously it was in the Spodek. But
half of the Spodek.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was like the budget version, and then what we've grown into today, where obviously we're saying it's for this event specifically or potentially. But having a crowd the entire time, like the scale is crazy. Like it is, I don't know, exponentially grown, but it's definitely grown and grown and grown. And now we're at this crazy level. Let me bring us back into this match. So Vitality versus Imperial. I think we all with Vitality here though, right?
Yeah, you have to be. But, just for the sake of theory, right? Imperial, if they beat Vitality in their opening game, talk about a boost of confidence,
yes,
right, for the whole stage. Then you have to feel like if they manage that upset somehow, they're making it into the next stage, almost based off of that.
Yeah, well then they just have to win one best of three,
and they eliminate like a potential opponent down the line in like a decider game or something.
True.
You can't face the same team twice in Swiss.
Yeah, and that means it's more likely they play against the teams who are more likely to wet the bed in those 2-2 type matches, right? If they get there.
Yeah, and listen, next game I think we can talk about is Bad News Eagles 0-0 Nation.
Okay.
I think that's an interesting one because Bad News Eagles are a team that we haven't seen a team like that in a long time. That was Jason.
That was the PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a sense of, I compare them to like Fnatic in 2015. In a sense of, you don't get to play Counter-Strike against Bad News Eagles from the start of the game. You almost like are playing deathmatch.
Yes.
You have to stop. Like they're going to be relentless. They're going to be in your face. They're going to be aggressive, and they don't care who it is on the other side. They don't care if it's not even you see a guy running, rotating, making noise where maybe he shouldn't. They don't care about that.
Yeah,
like, they'll be
like that,
and they'll let you know about it. They'll keep being in your face, and if you can't stop that, you're probably done.
Yep.
Like you're just gonna be. You have to count on winning a couple of rounds ST, and then doing the same thing to them CT, like shutting down. So 0-0 Nation, like. Yes, we heard them today talk about, the mental aspect, coach, whatnot, but they have 3 young players who are the heavy hitters, right? They're the ones who are supposed to frag. So if they start off shaky, and Bad News Eagles is playing on CT and they're up 5-0 or 4-0, they won already one gun round, like that can be extremely dangerous for 0-0 Nation.
I think this is a bit of a trap game for 0-0 Nation just because, as you mentioned, the 3 young guys, like we talk so much about this home crowd advantage, but those 3 young guys playing in front of their own Brazilian crowd in a major like this, that's a whole different level of pressure. And one other thing we talked to the Brazilians in that show that Yanko and I did with them was we even mentioned, if you go back to 2016, what a Pro League season, like 3 finals, when they played in the grand finals, originally in Sao Paulo, lost to Cloud9.
Yeah.
They talked about the immense pressure it felt like to be like, we have to win.
And they were expected to win then as well.
And they were the best team in the world at the time, right?
So, I mean, that's a bit of a trap, especially when you consider Bad News Eagles played on the stage in front of a huge crowd in Antwerp.
But who is the favorite in this game?
No. They were top 16.
Was it the other one? Was it they didn't make
the
it,
Flames.
did they?
Didn't Flames make it?
Flames played top 8 at the Antwerp
that's
major.
But I think for Bad News Eagles, right? Like you look at the team and the type of Counter-Strike they're playing. Do you consider them the favorite in this matchup? Like take the stage out of it when you just compare the 2 teams.
It's hard. Like it's coin flip based off of the momentum, right?
Yeah.
I think 0-0 Nation is a more diverse team. Like they have more ways to win.
That's better
potentially,
okay.
But Bad News Eagles is one way to win is very strong. If they get it going, it's like almost it's very hard to stop it.
Their opener is their closer.
If they can get their own way, if they can get their own way, then it's going to be hard for any team who's playing them here to stop them.
I think Double Nation probably plays like better Counter-Strike, like on paper. Like they play probably smarter, good quote unquote Counter-Strike. But I mean, in games like this and best of ones especially, and with this kind of pressure, like who gives a shit about that?
In a best of 1, I favor Bad News Eagles. In a best of 3, I favor 0-0 Nation.
Yeah. Who was it out of you two that said? Was it one of you two that said today? You said, Chad, that you don't think they're a team One of you said that you don't think they're a team that's going to get intimidated by the crowd, even though
Bad
they
News
don't
Eagles.
have.
Yeah, I said that.
You said
Yeah.
that. You can get that feeling, right? I'm curious to see that
Yeah.
because if that is the case, then they have a decent chance of making it.
I think they like the fuel of that, right? Because like these guys are so fiery, man.
They're
I fucking
passionate,
love
yeah.
it. And I'm not saying the Brazilians aren't, but they. I think this is the crux of this. I think the pressure is on 0-0 Nation, not on Bad News Eagles.
Well,
Of course.
Think of the storyline too of like both of them. Both Brazilian Counter-Strike and Bad News Eagles. You know, kind of having a similar kind of thing. We're coming up into a region that is not really known for Counter-Strike at all, and not really known to have any kind of infrastructure to them. So I mean, so there's almost that parallel between like the two regions in that sense, which is kind of cool.
Well, we got to predict one of them. We're on Vitality in game 1. Ooh. I don't know. I'm going to go with Bad News Eagles.
I am too. I didn't think I was going. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Bad News Eagles as well. I think I just talked myself out of Double Nation.
I think
right here live on air.
I don't know. I like what I heard from Taco and Cole today. I think they're going to be able to kind of
circumvent the issues.
Well, yeah.
What cold are we getting at this event?
I think Cole's going to play way better than he did so far. Okay. Like that, he's going to be locked in, and he's not in a role where he can put up big numbers anymore. Like if you looked at the previews on HLTV, it's like him and Taco have the highest T-side opening kill attempts.
Yeah,
you know, right? Like that's not his natural style.
Not at all.
But I think they're going to be able to lead by example, right? And you know, if you're Dumao and you see Cold win a 1v3, for example, and stands up and everything, and you've watched him do that on stream. You know, you were a kid, you started maybe playing because of those guys, right? And trying to have that success. That's extremely powerful and uplifting. So, yeah, I believe they're going to, you know, be able to weather the storm and that they're not going to choke in the game. But I think this is going to be one of the more interesting games and definitely really close.
For sure. All right, what do we got next, Janko?
Well, we can go with mouz outsiders. Let's talk about a game where there's no Brazilians in it.
Well, don't we have the head-to-head? Like outsiders? That's all right. I don't know if that's going to come through. And if it does, it's just like the team speak noises.
Head-to-head, what?
Outsiders beat them in Rotterdam, I'm pretty sure, recently on LAN.
Yes,
so like
and that was the final?
Let me check. Was it the final?
No, it was the semifinal.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think mouz made it.
But they
to the
came
final.
back on the third map, I think, outsiders to win the series.
Yeah, so it'll be a close get, and now we're in a best-of-1 environment here. I think it's going to be more telling in that game for mouz of what version of them we're going to get for the event than for outsiders. Even if outsiders lose this game, I'm not worried. But if mouz lose this, I'm slightly worried.
Yeah, I fucking hate outsiders, man. Like,
come on, man.
I love outsiders.
I don't actually, but here's the thing: is I feel like they just play so many games close just due to the style of which they play. Like, it feels like they're such. I actually feel like outsiders is like a much better team than mouz.
But it depends on which way you're framing that. Are you framing it that you think they have a lot of comebacks, or are you framing it that they have a lot of leads and then they don't close?
I don't think it's. I wasn't even really framing it in both or neither.
Okay,
if that makes sense. Like, I just think like
you don't like close games, Jason.
I love close games, but like just when you're outsiders, I feel like they play the percentages too much, right? Like which is a smart.
What do you mean, James saving?
Yeah, and like and I feel like sometimes they have like leads in games where it's like if you would,
go for this.
Yeah, go for this or take a little bit of a risk here, then you would just like run away with the map. But you play it safe and you play the odds and you play that every single time, and it allows opportunities for other teams to get back into it. Now, it obviously puts you in a great spot, down the stretch. And again, you're playing the odds, so statistically, it's going to put you in a great situation. But man, every once in a while, I wish I would see them actually go for something that they have the opportunity at. And this is one thing I remember. I spoke with Yakinder in was it
Stockholm?
Was it Malta? Yeah, it was in Malta.
Oh, okay.
I spoke with Yakinder, and he was telling me like that was kind of one thing was like James doesn't have that like kind of X factor in him where he's like, I need to be the one to make a call as the in-game leader or make a play as the opper to like turn the tides of this situation.
If it comes to him, he'll do it, but otherwise he won't take the chance.
Right,
yeah?
And it's very much like just ingrained into his mind of like odds, play the odds, make the right smart play.
Okay, but here's a thought exercise, right? I think us three think the same, where if you have a big lead, let's say 11-4, right? Zonic rule. And then the other team starts coming back and you start feeling this pressure. Like you can also sense that it's happening, right? Like you lost the pistol, you won the first gun round, you got to reset, now you have to eco. All of a sudden it's 11-10 and you've played one gun round or two gun rounds, right? But what if, because they've been playing that way for so long, like James explains and the players understand that it's fine. Like we can win the game 16-14, we've still won. Like we need to this is the best way to win the game, whether
Yeah.
they're coming back or not.
That's what I see.
We can't get influence.
Okay.
And I had, that's the sense that I'm getting from a couple of interviews that we had. Every player that's talked about James says how smart he is, how great of a leader he is, how much
Yep.
prep he does. Like, we've only heard positive things about him. So, and it seems like the players have confidence in him.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're the most difficult team to put away, or at least they were until they fell off a little bit. So, from our point of view, it looks maybe a little bit strange, but for themselves, because they all buy into it and they all 100% believe, it's not just, oh, okay, you're right, and then you're thinking in yourself, this guy's wrong. No, they actually believe in that. That's why it's powerful for them, and that's why they're able to, someone's coming back, but they still win in the end, or they themselves are able to come back from tough scores.
Yeah, you kind of said those same positive things about him, just to let the record show that, and have the same good things to say about him as an in-game leader. My vibe sometimes is just like, at what point does, how we always kind of criticize, it's almost something that you can kind of see with the eye test, it's hard to kind of quantify, but the idea of play to win, not play not to lose.
But,
so to speak,
I'm kind of with Yanko, because
Okay.
I think with the sentiment that Yanko's saying here is they have their way of winning, which might not be necessarily the way
Right.
that we would, like, if we had our teams, would be thinking to get to the win. But they
Playing
have
to win for them is what they're doing.
Yes,
Yes.
and I think the thing is, if you look at Liquid, and we all talk about Yakinda bringing that style to this team, they brought that style with the X Factor players going for plays.
Yeah.
Right? So they're trying to do the blend, and
Right.
I guess we can have this direct comparison now.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a really cool comparison down the stretch.
So we can see like which game style, because there's Liquid are going to drop games by going for a play, fucking up, losing 3 rounds because of it, and then losing 16-12. Whereas maybe James' boys wouldn't have taken that risk. They would have saved the rifle in the AWP. They would have gone into the next, and then we're still 11-11, and they grind out 16-13 or some shit, right? But that, like, those comparisons are mega hard to make. But I don't know. I used to be like, this is fucking snooze fest. I don't feel that way about Outsiders anymore. It's a bit more exciting.
They definitely have some things they can mix in that are a lot cooler.
They've changed it. Mostly it's like half buys and stuff like that, like weird buys, hero buys. But I think what's going to happen is, because they've had success with those rounds, they're going to understand even in full gun rounds that can work, and that's going to make them even better. And it feels like the two guys are fitting in well.
Fame and Norbert.
Fame especially, that he can like take a big flit, has been doing a good job. But what I always say this, a good sign for me, and I always have faith in a team. You look at their win, and the fragging or the rating difference is like minimal, right? Like the top guy, let's say, has 35 kills, and the lowest guy has 25, 27 kills, right? That tells you everyone's doing their job. And I think their style is dependent on being reactive and doing what's best, what makes the most sense of the map, and that's why the players all have to be versatile.
Yes.
Sometimes you'll have to go in first, sometimes you'll have to lurk, sometimes you have to support, sometimes you'll have to trade, and that's why you see different games. Yes, Flit always is a little bit above the rest because he is just a little bit more skilled, but even the lowest skilled player, who I don't know who would say, Norbert, probably, like, he's not a bot, he's not a Sanji, right? Like, he can have like good rounds, and this is the thing.
Sanji just catching strays.
but here's the thing, it's like that can be just this one round, that's a reset round where
Yes.
he made a good move and maybe just got one kill and created space, right? But because of that move, they won the important round, and makes it easier down the line. Like, you really need to dig deep into Outsiders, sort of like watch them in a bit closer up to really kind of get a feel for and appreciate what it is they're doing.
I think if you look at the team, the most selfish member in the team would,
And I just want to say, for me, Outsiders, I have them making top 8. Like, that's how highly I rate them for this tournament.
They should definitely be top 8.
Well, they're gonna have to run a gauntlet, right?
Now you're making it sound like
They're-
definitely
they're-
top
they're
8.
a
We'll get to
fringe-
it,
they're a
in the next
fringe
week's.
team, yeah?
We'll get it in next week's episode.
That's if they make it. But I think like the most selfish member of the team gets to be Jane because of he's the queen, right? I mean that like in a chess reference. Like
Is that
he has
because of his hair, or
No.
he makes the most
Yes,
moves.
and but then I think
Why are you laughing, Jason?
the player that gets to be the next most selfish is Flit. I think like for those rounds where he has like this he gets to bait his teammate, or like you fight, I'll hide, and then I'll get 3 kills or some shit, right? Like, but for this game specifically. Right, I guess we can talk a bit about mouz.
Yes.
That was a face and a half right there. We
Well, I
had a
don't know what
camera
to
for this.
say about mouz, man. I was talking to him today. They're a bunch of good lads. I like them. They're cool, but it's like, boys, I need you to get a killer instinct. If we need someone with a killer
Chad,
instinct, it's these guys.
But you develop that. Like, they're 6 months, 9 months away. I don't even know if they can evolve so fast to be a real threat at Paris. I almost want to say it's like the second major of next year. It's just like you have to go through the motions. How can you not do like Nexa was talking in an interview today, or in that piece, the previous, like the feel of the stage vibrating. Like you've never experienced that as a player. Like, you know, learning how to play with the noises that you hear in the arena too. Like, I mean, that's very detailed. That's very far down. But you know, like yes, they're good lads. They're skilled. And they have the potential to be very good. And what's missing is who is going to be. And I was waiting to see that in the game they had. Was it the 2-2 game or I think it was the 2-2 game. It went to a third map.
It was Dexter who had to have the one with the balls.
And Dexter was, but it was also exertion.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
And he seems like he might be the best out of all of those guys, because you just look at some of his plays, his moves, like the way he can be very passive, like safe when it's necessary, understands they have a big advantage, just wait for your teammates by time, but also realizes I need to be the one who takes the risk. Like we need someone to go for it, to take the initiative. Otherwise, we're just stuck here.
I know they've added, they've changed a player, obviously, but do you give any credit to mouz when you talk about lack of stage experience for the quarterfinal they had in Cologne? They've gotten to feel the stage rumble. Stage experience. Yeah, it's not a lot.
Like it's one game, right?
They lost to Astralis. Right? Or Liquid. They played one of those two. Astralis, yeah.
And now the way that looks is terrible.
I think
but that meant a lot. Despite the loss, like it meant a lot just to get up there, plug your stuff in, get up, have the stage walk out, listen to the crowd. Like that's gonna help. That's gonna help them. That might be the reason why they somehow make it out of the stage.
Also, I'll say I heard this. I can't remember where I heard this, and I don't know if I would go so far as to call it a rumor, but maybe just unconfirmed. That sounds like it's got legs. I think that Outsiders have a pretty decent, hefty Brazilian fan base. I think the Brazilians actually really like Outsiders.
Wouldn't they be the enemy? Like after they beat them back, they didn't Outsiders.
I think that's because James looks like Jesus, and I think there's a statue here.
Yeah, maybe that could be part of it. But I think it's more stylistic, like playing the way they play stylistically, like just playing smart Counter Strike.
Okay, maybe.
So I mean, there might be a little bit of a crowd against mouz.
Well, look, I just the sentiment that we were talking about. You said like 6 months, maybe not even for Paris. Frozen today, I was doing some piece where I just had to quickly, like as a backstage type content piece, just ask some quick fire type questions, right? Yep. Just for.
By the way, he's also only 20.
Yes, he's a baby as well. But the answers he was giving were just like, experience. Like, you know, I kind of got that vibe, like kind of what you were saying there. And obviously they're here, they want to win, but I think they understand what you're saying.
And you know what's another thing that I also feel, this is just a feel I have. I feel like they're a team that's going to focus so much on the Counter-Strike.
Yes.
That they're unaware not how little Counter-Strike matters, it matters a lot, but how much everything around
the
game
matters.
And their coach as well. Like, I feel like, I think he's a good coach. I feel like he's also inexperienced when it comes to these games and this sort of a level. So he's gonna, your natural instinct is, I want to do everything I can to prepare the team for the game and make sure we know everything that they're doing and be prepared for every scenario, right? And instead, it's really important to get them into a good mood.
And all those things go out the window.
And listen,
leave your brain.
If they do have the foresight to understand that and be focused on that, then that really means a lot for mouz and their chances to make it further into the tournament.
Yeah, and but this is it. But in this matchup, who are we picking? Outsiders or mouz?
Outsiders.
Okay, done. Bang, bang, bang. Who get next?
You want 9Z GamerLegion?
Yeah, we can do that. So this was a fun one. I was talking a bit to the GamerLegion guys today. So the names are pretty easy, right? If you look at the names, just go. Well, I know that we need to have a bit of talk. I asked Shui. And I said, "Is Shui fine?" He said, "Shui's fine."
Yeah. Shui.
And I asked I am, and
it's
I
close
said,
to your heart.
Now the way that he pronounced it, he said, "I am is fine," or it was like Ima, but I don't want to butcher that. So he doesn't like Imi. Don't do Imi. Imi bad.
I never heard anyone do Imi.
I think I saw his teammates, or he tweeted it. It was like IMME, like it was a joke. He doesn't like that. That's not good. But I am is fine, and maybe like
Ima.
Yeah, I think like the Romanian.
I think we got to do Ima.
We should check with him tomorrow.
We can't do IM. That sounds horrible for highlights. Can't do him dirty like that at a major.
True.
Ima is better than I am. Feels like, I mean, easier for you guys.
So isn't like I'm?
No, I don't think. No, I don't. And that would sound weird. I'm taking B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that's going to fit into the mix here.
It's an odd one.
Yeah. So I think we'll double check. It's in the morning. But Isaac's the Swede. Kio's obviously we remember him from Simon Gaming, don't we, boys?
Yep. Absolutely.
I am Acor and Shui going up against 9Z, which is David, DGT, Buddha, NQZ, and Max. Now the two that people should remember would be DGT and Max. I think David as well, right? When did David join?
I think a while ago, the new additions are Buddha and NQZ.
Yeah.
From this summer, and NQZ is like the upper. He's young, up and
He's
coming
the
Brazilian,
Brazilian,
right?
yep.
He's 17, and he's been lights out for them. Like he's been really, really good. And DGT as the rifler, sort of a closer, and Max the in-game leader, long-time in-game leader of the squad. And they have Zach as the coach. Not just that he's Brazilian, but he's super experienced. He's been there from the beginning with
Yeah.
the Brazilians in the US. He was the coach of that Immortal squad that made it into the grand final in Krakow against Gambit. And they've been playing good CS, man. And they've had some upset wins here and there. I know that, Rubet Cup before Cologne that was online isn't a massive thing, but they beat FURIA 2 times, in the opening game and in the decider game. It was GSL best of 3 groups, right? And this is FURIA coming off of a Dallas tournament where they had a win on the stage, which they didn't do in a long time. So they're not in that tournament to fuck around. They want to build up the momentum, build on that confidence, And 9Z denied them that. And they had, the comeback wins against both Imperial and 0-0 Nation with the experienced players at the RMR. So I feel like they went through some, for example, when we talk about mouz, 9Z went through some of those steps. Like they made it to the Antwerp Major, but they didn't they didn't win, I think, a single map. They were 0-3, right? That happened, and then they had the roster changes.
Zach
made
wasn't
them
allowed
better.
to coach then, was he?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was
so
over
stupid.
over
That was so
some
insane.
that was like travesty. But
Yeah, that was brutal.
so he's going to be,
Yeah, he was really excited
yeah,
today.
absolutely.
Zach's a good lad.
Zach's a good
He's
guy.
a good guy. Yeah. Shout out to Zach.
But he has to be seen as a bit of a key to some of the success of this team because he's a consistent pillar, right?
Yeah.
And so he has to be a good coach. With the results that they continue to get, you can't just say it's the players have changed, right? So you have to look at him as a bit of a catalyst to all of this.
I think this is going to be one of the more fire games, like explosive games,
Sure.
and fun to watch. And GamerLegion is going to be one of the funner teams to watch because of Acor, man. Like the guy he's figured it out in a sense of, I'm just going to play the game however I want to play the
Yes.
game, right? And, obviously I was very critical of him during his time in mouz. And, a
lot of people were.
I changed my opinion completely. And, it's almost as if, we talked about someone like Monesi, like, you just need to let them loose. And, you wouldn't think of Acor as being a player who would you have the same conversation about. But why not, man? Like, he's proving it so far. Like, with freedom, he's having tremendous impact. He's having, like, all kinds of different types of impactful rounds, putting up insane numbers, too. So, him and Shui are definitely the two standout players. And I think if you're mouz now, you're wondering, maybe we should have just upgraded this guy.
Which
and
we've
kept
been
him-
joking about. But
Which,
yeah.
yeah, but
Well, they already got jokes.
we didn't
when
get
were-
to see him as much, but he is, for the RMR, he was really good individually as well, and
Yeah.
led his team to a major spot.
Yeah, they this is the type of team that are keen as fucking mustard to be here, right? This is for Acor, it's his second major. For most of them, it's their first. Kio's the second as well. And you think about it from that perspective, they're a team that we didn't think would get here. They're here now, right? They're gonna be playing. They're gonna embrace the moment, I think, right? They're gonna be enjoying the moment.
And the team that knocked out G2
Yeah.
after losing the first map,
Yeah, convincingly.
16-4, like they lost 12-3 as CT on Vertigo.
They got owned.
So
I think this is sneakily one of the coolest matchups of the day, in terms of like
the first round?
head to head. Yeah, yes,
yeah.
I should say first round. I think this is really cool. I don't know. I think GamerLegion. I was so impressed by them in the RMR, casting them in the RMR, and some of the games they had. I was super impressed with the way they were moving around the map. Obviously, with the way Acor played, that goes without saying. The way Shui was making things happen and the impact he was able to have. And then on the other side of things for 9Z. This team has been causing upsets all year. I mean, I think previously that wouldn't like give too much of a highlight to like the wider audience upsets. I think towards the North American side of like the blast tournaments and the qualifiers into that and the showdowns and everything to start the year in the first half. But I don't know. Like the 9Z is a team I really want to see do well because I think they're fun to watch. I think they shoot really well. I don't think they play the best Counter-Strike in the world, but we've already kind of gone over that in some of the previous matchups. It doesn't necessarily matter in these best of ones. They're going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to be really dangerous. This, I think, is a very tough matchup
Well,
for them.
one Brazilian/South American representative surely has to win on day one, gentlemen. Are we picking them over GamerLegion?
I want to, yeah. I'll pick them. I
Okay.
want to. For me, they're one of those teams that people. I want to put them at making it. I think they're the upset team that's going to make it into the next
Okay.
stage.
I have them in my pick'ems. I put them as the 3-0 team. They're my Hail Mary.
Okay.
I don't think they're actually gonna go 3-0, but they're my safety net. You know,
All right. Fair enough. No, everyone gets one.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed a punt.
We all do the strategy.
I'm
just playing the odds. I'm
I don't know.
like the outsiders of PICKEMS.
I have Vitality in my 3-0, but we'll get to that later.
So okay, so you've both gone 9Z. So I can go GamerLegion here without any fear of my vote swaying things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
That's fine.
I don't.
What?
I don't know if. Yeah.
Stop
You
it,
just said
Jason. Trust your
9Z.
gut.
You just said 3-0.
Trust your gut.
Oh, I have him in the PICKEMS assist.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's your way out.
so you don't
That's why you
believe in
pick
your
them. Yeah.
pick'ems.
Not really.
No, he doesn't believe in them, but because of his pick'ems, he's going to choose.
They're the safety net. They're the one you.
So you're picking him or not?
All right.
I'll take them.
All right,
So-
fair enough.
Let's make Chad miserable now. OG Greyhound.
Dexter's plane has landed.
So
Is he at the hotel? I don't know. But the other thing is Greyhound don't have their bags. They have
Really?
their gear, but they don't have their bag. IHC
Oh,
don't
that's
have.
fine.
IHC don't have their gear.
I saw that. I don't know how still in 2022 players are still putting their gear in their suitcases, especially when you're traveling across the ocean.
Yes.
It's like this is the one thing you always do, and you can say like, well, maybe they didn't travel. Dude, you had that public on Reddit, and like
Yeah.
the Pro League, it happened to Hampus, and he had the worst tournament of his career.
I've said it like 10 times.
How is there not a manager, a coach? How is no one like paying attention to these things?
But even
And
if,
also, why did they fly in today? Right? IHC, they only arrived
Was it
today.
today?
I think so. Maybe they had some like
could be visa stuff.
visa stuff
Yeah.
or something.
But,
yeah.
but regardless, like not having your gear is ridiculous. So I think, I don't know why I'm talking about IHC. Let me go back to Greyhound. Greyhound just don't have their jerseys, right? They have their gear. They also told me today that they're not wearing any underwear because they don't have any, and shops were closed.
Is that an
today.
Australian thing?
No, they just don't have any.
They're going
Okay,
commando.
gotcha.
Okay,
But
now,
this is why
now
when
I'm
I-
having them win.
This is why, but when I
Free
travel,
baller, gotta go with the
when
free
I
ballers.
travel and I go overseas, right? I will take 2 pairs of fresh underwear in my carry-on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in case I shit myself. But
That's how adult you are.
also in case you lose your luggage, right? So people can learn a thing or two. But for Greyhound here, like
Here we go. Give us like the peak Greyhound. If you're gonna predict Greyhound to win, give us the quick hits.
There's no
I
way
don't
he's
think-
predicting them to
No,
win.
he's not going to. But if you had to just stump for him, if this was a requirement,
I think Inz
someone who's gonna speak positive about
I
Greyhound.
think Inz is good. Like I think Inz is a
Okay.
good player, and I think Vexite, the newest addition here, this little young buck, I think he will be good. He's very aggressive. He's an aggro kid. He has some sharp aim, and he just fucking loves it. He's another one of these like babies, right? And he's going to be one of the next gen of Oz Counter Strike. And I think in a matchup, if we were to be matchup specific against a team like OG, which is also quite an in-your-face team, that it's a matchup where you could have back and forth rounds. Because if anybody watches the type of Counter Strike Greyhound have to play against the Asian teams, right? You can see it's crazy. It's like
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
what's
it's a bit
go-
insane.
Whereas OG, I know that they're of a different pedigree, of a bit of a different ilk, but you bring in the factor of their inexperience. Name me the experienced players on their team. Nexa. Dexter.
Dexter.
That's it. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better than what the Greyhound has. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
fair
Liaz.
Yeah.
Liaz is on Greyhound, so that will help. But I think it's just, for me, unfortunately, because of we're still relatively recent to COVID, right? I think that set the Asian
They were boot
teams.
camping in Poland.
I know, but they do that a lot.
I think they had a
You
week there.
Even in a couple of Pro League seasons that we had Australian teams come and it didn't really help them that much. So I think that's the problem that they have, really,
Just not enough play at this level.
Yeah.
Well, see, I did the same
but-
thing as Jason
But
did with
listen, I'll
9Z.
tell you, it's not like I have mad confidence in OG. I have no idea what OG is going to do in this tournament. I have absolutely no idea. Like,
They
if
lost to Wings Up.
if they catch fire, they can like make top 8 potentially.
What?
Right? Well, maybe not that much. But I mean, they have a lot of firepower on that team, right? But you're also
Yeah.
thinking there's inexperience, so they're probably not going to play up to their potential. But also, I have, I can see a scenario in which they completely crumble and they
They're
don't
on the
do
same
anything.
journey as Mouse, but less experience.
You mean more experience?
I would say less.
OG less experienced than
team.
Mouse? Well, you mean because of how recent Dexter joined?
Well, yeah, but also like in the sense that they didn't have 5 best of 3s during Pro League together, right? Like
Yeah, that's why they played at some online thing. And
Yeah.
they didn't do great there either.
no. So I don't know. I
You
don't know
think,
what
you think they just don't have enough reps, basically?
Yeah, like I think that there's good pieces in this team. Like I think Fiku can be good. I think Dexter can be good. I think Flames can be good. I think Nexa can be good. I think the Neofrag can be good. I think they can all be good.
Yeah.
But can they all be good together in a team that works? Like what needs to change with OG? What's the consistent thing that's been there the entire time? There's only one pillar of that left, and that's the coach.
Yeah.
So, like, the OG have made it to the major now, at least. There you go. There's a positive. They made it.
I think that's super cool for OG. I feel like OG has like a ceiling that's way lower than you'd ever want a team like OG to have.
Okay.
I feel like it just
Is it because of the org name you feel that?
no.
No?
Wait, why would it be the org?
Well, because like in Dota, the pedigree of them is high.
Okay.
Like
I
I know,
gotcha.
like, but you're talking about the 5 players in the server, or what do you? What do
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah, 5 players in the
'Cause
server.
I don't think they get paid a lot of money, do they? I don't think they're like a highly paid team.
No, I'm not talking. What? I said ceiling.
I know, but you're saying that they should have a higher ceiling. Why?
Oh no, I'm saying
They don't get paid well. Their org is only good in Dota. Why should they be better?
No, I'm just thinking. I meant like the team
Chad,
as like
please have
in
another
terms of
slice of pizza
in terms of what
before
they
you
can
bite
accomplish.
Jason's head off.
These 5 players have like a ceiling that they wish could be that I think they would like to be higher than it actually
get
is.
better.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm just saying. Why are you? I'm not an OG. Why are you getting mad?
It's been a long day for Chad. He deserves to get mad at
but
something.
I think like, and I hate saying this 'cause I like the guy, but I think like in terms of the calling style of Nexa, and even when like what was the quote when he gave when everyone joined to the team where it's like, look, we're never going to be like a tactical or strategic team. We're just going to run out there and frag as hard as we possibly can. Like that puts a ceiling on you. Like
Yeah, okay.
there's- you know.
Okay, there you go. We got that.
I mean,
yeah.
listen, I'm telling you, OG is like the biggest unknown for me in this tournament. I think like what Chad said is true. They just haven't played as that many matches.
Yeah.
Really, that you feel like you know where to put them.
You don't have faith in the results you've seen. Like, what do? They played the Blast fucking in-house tournament, the exhibition matches.
You don't have faith, but that doesn't mean they can't be good right now.
That's true.
You know, like this tournament will be very telling about where OG is now as a lineup and also what you could potentially expect from them in the future.
Yeah,
right?
is this kind of like the barometer event for
Like
OG?
let's say if
Yes.
I can I'm putting them obviously to win this game, right? I'm picking them to beat Grayhound, but you know, in a game against mouz, Fnatic, I have no idea what to expect. I feel like they're a team that could beat
Yeah.
the opponent 16-5, but they could also find a way to lose, you know, in a similar fashion.
Okay, what about this though? So Dexter literally lands tonight, right? Because he got delayed. We've seen that on the socials. Is it a coin toss that he plays well tomorrow?
No, I think Dexter's going to be fine.
So you're like thinking it's more like 70% he plays well, 30% not? Or like what are you thinking here? 80-20? Like, because for me it's a 50-50.
I think also in this game, I don't think they need Dexter to play anything excellent to beat Grayhound.
You'll see, mate.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Sure. Okay.
No, but I think Dexter is the most important player in that team.
He certainly is. He definitely is.
So that's why I put a lot of stock in him showing up or not showing up.
Yeah, I would agree with that if it was an opponent that wasn't Grayhound.
All right,
But let me throw this. If they lose to Grayhound, do they go 0-2 in the day?
I have no idea. It depends who they play. It might, you know how it is, Chad. Like sometimes these teams, you have a bad loss in your opening game, and then that's a kick in the end. You know, like that resets. I do that with MIBR in London. I lost to Tai Lu in the opening game because
No
people
shame in
were
that, mate.
people were a little bit too stressed, right? Like, you know, and so on and so on.
PTSD from Malmo.
But after that, you know, there was a talk. Some things were fixed, and you know, we ended up being top 4. So it just depends, like how the team kind of regroups after that sort of a loss. But we all have OG here.
Well, I don't, but we can put them.
No, you can say it.
I've got
You're on the
Grayhound
record.
as my 3-0 team.
Okay.
My man. My man.
I can't wait to get to PICKEMS. Like, you guys are such fucking pussies. It's unbelievable.
All right. So OG win. All right, next one.
Let's go to another easy one. Big FURIA.
FURIA. Oh, wait, we got to talk about the teams. Mate,
Just a little bit, Chad.
Big have a large entourage for once.
Do they?
Are they? I don't know
Well,
if they're trying to make
half of
themselves
it-
feel more at home.
Half of it is guys carrying like 3D printouts of Searson's room, so they can put it around him so that he feels
Come on,
like,
man.
What if they
Leave
just-
Searson alone, Yanko.
What if we just...
I don't know. It's just like it's just so obvious. It's just so staring you in the face.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's low hanging. Yeah, I need to stop. It actually is way too low hanging, even for someone like me. The pain that man inflicted on me in 2020.
It's just, you know, I think there's plenty of positive things I feel like I can always say about Big.
Do it then.
But I don't want to. 'Cause, like, I can't get over the fact that they just can't have a set roster.
Can't help but Favor's sick every second week, right?
I'm like, what is this? At what point do you just say enough is enough? We need the same 5 people.
a player that can actually come to We are horrible people. The guys has like.
He's surely got some condition.
Yeah,
but it's
I
like,
mean-
man, what
But
are you meant to
it's
do?
not just him though. Like remember they had all those crazy issues.
Oh, it was always just different guys subbing in. Oh no, man! But I think that they played better with stand-ins.
Yeah.
I think even when he was well, they had Gabi got sick. They had to have a stand-in for the coach.
They won Rubet with a stand-in. It was Keto.
That's
Then Keto
right.
came full time. They
For
started
Crimbo,
sucking.
wasn't it?
They started, for Faven.
Oh, yeah.
And then they started sucking when Keto came in full time. And then they got in Sin as a stand-in for Faven again,
Oh,
and they
my
did
lord.
good at the RMR and qualified. So now that Sin is like playing with them, no, Faven's playing.
No, Sin's here.
Sin's here.
Sin's here.
All right.
Sin City, bitch. I'm so fucking tired. I'm so tired. The tournament hasn't started.
Oh no!
The tournament hasn't
It's
started.
day 0.
All right. So
So
Furia?
Furia, huh?
We didn't. Oh, should we talk about them?
We could just say who we're gonna win. I don't think there's really a whole lot.
Furia,
to
we
talk
all
about.
said Furia is our team that we think is going to make it the farthest out of
The
all the
best
Brazilians.
Brazilians,
It's
right?
got to be the team to carry the flag for Brazil at this event.
Yeah.
It has to be.
So
Unless Imperial catches fire. And,
And
then
I think,
and then they win the match.
yeah. And then they're back. Then they're truly back. Boys.
And then Spur and Fallen. They just played the show match against Sweden. They're on the stage.
Yeah,
against
what
their
happens?
face.
and then they kick Vinny and Cello and bring back Cole and Taco.
Isn't that kind of crazy? Like you've already booked yourself into the show match.
Yeah, but
Come on, man. That's realistic. Like, you can't blame him for
Just
that.
saying.
And it's...
look, let's say they do make it. They probably go, okay, just put someone else in there. Like they can find other players.
Yeah, bring in the other legendary Brazilian players.
All right, so Furia, let's speed it up.
all right.
All right, this is a quick one. EG, IHC.
IHC.
See?
Why are we losing the plot? We got the fucking giggles.
No, but...
IHC don't have gear, man. How are we meant to predict them to win?
that does throw a spanner in the works, I'm not gonna lie.
They have to go shopping tomorrow for gear.
They've got Fallen. I'm sure Fallen's on the case, for a
he's
quick
got-
promotion
he's like-
of Fallen
he's like,
store.
"Hey,
You
boys, I
get
got you
whatever you
all
want."
the Fallen brand gear. All the Fallen
And
brand.
he will take a picture with him and thumbs up. Fallen saves the day again.
No, but how are we meant to predict IHC? Literally, they don't have.
All right,
like,
let's
I don't think we
let's
have
imagine.
to. I
Let's
don't think we
imagine they
have
have.
to.
Let's imagine they have gear.
they
Who do
play
you legit
Inferno.
think?
If they play Inferno, IHC can win.
You think other than that they have no chance?
I
Or
don't
not
think
a
they have
decent
no
chance?
chance. I don't know. I think EG have gotten progressively better. I don't think there's any pressure on EG though. So like, I don't think there's any pressure on either of these teams.
Well, there's pressure on EG in a sense of
They
if
should
we
win.
lose to IHC,
Yeah.
everyone's gonna say it's gonna come back to we're the worst team in the world again. So.
well, Kazad will say that even if they win.
Yeah, Casada's
But
not an EG. fan.
Kasad's lost the play, so. But
Happy birthday.
I've never
Kazad.
seen someone's dislike of organizational decisions bleed so much in the team itself.
I will say this though, with the way how EG is doing things and what they're telling us that they're trying to find a process to win no matter the players and slot players in and out. That means most definitely preparing players mentally and like having good like mental levels throughout the game and good energy, and that's going to be most important in this game. So because of that, I think EG will do a good job at that. I'm picking EG to win.
Okay. Well, this.
But it's like 70-30. It's
So
not
the-
like too much.
IHC play good, fundamental / slow Counter Strike.
Fundamental Counter-Strike for an Asian team.
But they play, and I know this sounds stupid, but they actually play. I've queued up against them before. They play Face It in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll
As a
practice-
team, as a 5-stack?
So they'll sometimes mix it with other people, like
Yeah.
Mara, the coach, will come in or whatever. But they,
Did your stack beat them?
I think we did.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
I'm
then
picking EG.
Why are you even talking about anything right
Mate,
now?
I beat Party Astronauts with Maniac and fucking, I think it was Get Right, when they came over to play Pro League.
Yeah, but that's Party Astronauts.
Well, they're an EG team.
Like the
Yeah.
second. Yeah, whatever.
This is getting worse for Jason the more we talk about it.
They're the second EG squad.
yeah, but they're the EG squad that's not here.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
All right, let's do it. We have one more
EG,
game after
yeah,
this.
yeah. Okay.
All right. This is the cream of
So-
the crop.
Okay.
The cream of the crop.
No, that's not what you said. No. Cloud9 Fnatic.
Oh, it is actually the cream of the crop. Yeah. Look, I think
Really?
that either team could win,
Okay.
but Cloud9 are the favorites, but Fnatic could win in a best of one.
This is the one reason why I didn't put Cloud9 as a 3-0 team.
Because of Fnatic.
Because I feel they can lose this best of one and they can win the remaining games and be 3-1
Okay.
easily. But I feel like in a best of one, Fnatic, I just like everything I've seen from them so far. right? We talked about it today in the thing. At Pro League, every series they won their own map pick, and
They
that
were
was like 3
competitive,
or
yeah.
4 different maps, right? So it tells you that they're able to play multiple maps. They're good at preparing, like opening games and winning their map picks. When you watch them play, it makes sense. It seems like people trust each other as well. Like they're taking good initiative. The stars are, playing. Creams is playing much better, which I think is crucial for them for this tournament.
But the whole team was fucked.
And other players are not as experienced, but Nico and Roy have played great at majors, and their team has done great at majors, right? And
Only
Mezzik
in
has
Europe, though, Yanko.
what jet
Have
lag?
they ever left Europe?
Do you think jet lag is going to affect them?
No, I don't know. I'm just talking shit.
If I hear anyone use the jet lag excuse for a European team at this event, I'm throwing
It's
something
only
out the
5
window.
hours. It's not
I'm
even like proper jet lag.
throwing something
Yeah.
out the window.
So
It's 4 hours now,
So
daylight
those are all
savings.
good signs, but Cloud9,
Yeah.
Shiro Exile, 2 best players in the server.
And Hobbitt's not being accused of match fixing at this major. So.
Yeah, no distractions there
Yeah.
at the very least.
Actually, no, I think he was. Didn't they? Anyway, I don't
there
wanna
was
get
the
into
new
that,
thing that came out.
Yeah.
We don't have to go
Man,
into
I love that Rusha just wrote an article about
just
how
reamed that
fucking
dude out.
moronic that clown is. That was
Yeah.
great. I
7
love it.
articles.
Yeah, I
but
was
it
going to
was
say
worth
he
it.
had like an article a day. I think
Yeah,
he's
but
up
that's
there.
what I want from Richard. I want Richard
love Richard.
slamming as many clowns in our industry as
Richard's
possible.
Shout out
in a
to
good
Richard.
place right now. He's doing some career best work, which is saying something.
Touchdowns.
I think Cloud9 coming into this challenger stage is going to blow teams out of the water.
Sorry, what?
I have a very look. I'm just gonna say this right
They
now.
picked Nuke last time, mate.
I don't have any really in-depth reasoning for this, but when you think about when you think about the situation that Cloud9 is coming into, where this is such a defining point for this team, like I really actually think that this major, if they don't do well here, if they have some kind of devastating loss, it has to be changes.
Is that
Absolutely.
negative
And I
pressure,
think-
though?
But I think that's going to focus them.
Okay.
I'm going to choose to believe that is actually going to focus them into a positive manner. And I think they're going to come in. I don't think they're going to blow every single team. Like they're one of those teams. I think everyone beneath them, the Fnatics, I think they're going to blow out of the water. I think when you get to like the Liquids and the Navis and the FaZe, obviously going to be very close games. But I think the teams that they should beat, they're going to blow them out of the water.
Why do you keep talking in like plurality, like for them? And it's Nafani. Like his head
think
is on
it's
the
him?
chopping block. Yeah. Who
What
else?
if I want to throw this at you. I was just thinking about this. What about this?
I
Ready?
could throw another name.
Oh,
at
that's
this,
your
too.
sexy voice. I like.
You ready for this?
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Cloud9 don't win, or get deep, don't do well, right? Maybe they make top
I
8.
think they need
Oh, I
top
know what
four.
you're gonna
I think they
say.
need top
Let's
four.
say they
to
go.
preserve the
Yeah,
roster.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and then Navi don't do very well. Then
Chill.
SDY goes. Guess who comes in? Uncle fucking Hobnob. Uncle fucking Hobnob, mate. Imagine Hobbit in Navi.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
And then someone else could join Cloud9.
Yeah, they can get like 2 players.
Yeah. Or
I
you
would-
think Nafany has to go?
Well, it looks like it.
Do you think Groove cuts in?
Listen, if you look at their
Who's gonna get
losses,
Boomich?
if you look at definitely not. If you look at their losses in playoffs and stuff, Nafani is the worst player by a large margin. Like I can understand his role; he's the entry fragment, but it's like -20, -30, 0.6 rating.
Oh, there's my stats.
Yeah,
Against party astronauts.
But
Hey, we won.
but he has a crucial role in like being the opener. We're talking he plays A ramp on Vertigo and so on, right? Like he can't afford to have that bad of a game.
True.
How and you look at how is it possible that you have 2 guys in the top 5 for the
And you
whole
lose, yeah.
and you not having like very deep runs. Inters we see in the last couple of tournaments, he's been playing really well.
He's been playing very well.
Right? Maybe you point to Hobbit like because before
He was more
it's
of a
Shiro
playmaker
Axel and then
before.
it's like a third. He was always there as the third guy, and Nafani says we need 3 guys to perform always, which I think is also a high ask, but all right. And I think that's where you have to look to, right? Where else do you look? Like if you want to replace something.
And I think too, on top of some of the poor individual performances, I think in some of the close games, I think strategically we see them as a team missing opportunities to close out
But it's
rounds.
the same thing
And
as outsiders.
yeah. But
Right?
well, I don't. It's not like quite the we're choosing to save this round. It is like we're in like a 3-on-3 going for it, and we've just like missed a timing due to not having that instinct that the bomb site's open, not actually challenging, people being a little bit too passive.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to that Liquid C9 series at EPL where Liquid beat them 2-1,
Yeah.
there were some very big like team miscues late on, and it's probably not fair to put all of those on Nafany, but I mean that just comes down to leadership, tactical.
But I return to Hobbit again, right? In the sense that if Axel and Shiro are
I think
playing
it's one
well,
of the two.
Hobbit has to. Hobbit is the big boy in the big boy britches to make those plays.
But I think that would only depend on if Hobbit wanted to go.
Oh, I don't mean leaving the team. I mean, like, what I'm saying is, Hobbit before, when shit was in the mud, he was the guy that felt like he pulled them out of the mud. He was
Yeah.
like, I'm here, boys. I'm going to rescue you. I fucking won a major.
I remember speaking to the airport after Stockholm, and he was just like, at the like 6 a.m. We were just sat there, and he was just like, I'm just waiting for the moment where this team and these players click in and realize they can do the same thing on the stage that they do in practice and matches every single day.
And that's what
He's
we
like,
think
I'm
this
waiting for
event will
that
be.
to click in. We're hoping it's going to be that event. Yeah.
The terminus for Christianity, as they would say.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember in Dallas when they won, and he was so like emotional on the stage, and he was saying, "Believe me, guys, we're gonna win a lot more because he thought that was the moment. Like he felt that was the moment where these kids like unlock their potential, and now that's gonna be like they're gonna play the same way every time, and that's gonna allow them to at least win a couple more trophies or play a couple more finals. And unfortunately, didn't pan out that way. We all thought that, but. I agree with Jason that if they don't do well at this tournament, there has to be a change because what else is there for them,
I think there could be
Probably right out of the season, but
there could be. I think
guess.
there's maybe one other way I think they could avoid making changes that I can think of. I don't know if they'd go this route, but it would have to be bring in a different coach and have Groove move into something a little bit more managerial that's not behind them.
But don't we think Groove's a good coach? He has a good
I do.
system.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're not winning, is it a good system?
Yeah.
But then if it's Yanko's bang
I think-
on, it's
I'm
always...
just saying,
think
I think that's one road to avoid roster changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potentially Cloud9 is in a position where Navi was in 21 right before they exploded.
Yes.
That they need a little bit more flavor in their game, a little bit more variety, a little bit more pace, because
bit of
no matter
spice.
how
Yeah.
efficient their style is, when
Yeah.
it works, it's predictable. Cloud9's style, and if you know that, it makes it not only does it make it easier for you to play, it makes you more confident to play against them, right? Like sometimes it doesn't help if they're really on point. They're just really good at what they do, but sometimes if they're having a rough game, it's going to make it easier for you to shut them down.
So in this matchup, if we
Yeah.
go back to the Fnatic Cloud9 game,
Yeah.
and I know that you said this is the matchup that stopped you from putting them 3-0. But did it stop you putting them 3-0 because you think it's a 50-50? Or were you scared because there was a chance of like a 60-40 in Cloud9's favor and that 40 of Fnatic was scary?
I think like it's a 60-40. I give Cloud9 the edge, not by too much because I rate Fnatic highly, but I give Cloud9 the edge because of Shiro and Exile.
It's
Still
a good
the
map pool.
two best players in
When
the
you say
server.
you rate Fnatic highly, how highly we talking here?
Top 10.
Probably, yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, but yeah, I have them making the next stage, and then
Okay.
probably not further than that because of
Yeah.
much better teams.
Do you know
in
how
there.
good this map pool is for the Holy Trinity fans? Actually, it's not. We don't get nuked. But the likelihood is that you get an overpass Vertigo or Ancient in this game.
Okay.
You don't get Dust 2, you don't get nuke. I don't... Well, actually, Fnatic have a 0% win rate on Inferno in the last 3 months. They've lost it 4 consecutive times to Navi,
But I
Vitality,
feel like that
Sangala,
would be a
Liquid.
trap for Cloud9. Like Inferno is
Yes.
not their natural map. So
And then it would be Mirage as the other one. So it will be Overpass, Vertigo, or Ancient most likely.
yeah, I mean,
But that's the thing. That's what I think
those are the
separates
three
Cloud9.
maps. Those are the three maps. Those have to be their three best maps for them to have
Cloud9 or Fnatic, or both.
Cloud9.
Yes,
Cloud9.
yes,
Those have
yes.
to be their
We've had
three
this
best,
conversation, you and me,
right?
before.
Yeah, because it's like when they came out as Gambit, it was train overpass Vertigo. And you always had a team who vetoes one of the three maps,
Yes.
most of the teams.
So you could pick the
and
other.
they're pretty bad on the other, right? They might be decent one, and that's what gave them, how many times have they picked overpass and won? And then later in the year, picked Vertigo and won.
Yep.
Like it was insane win rate. So then they started, to pick more Mirage, pick Dust 2 sometimes. It's like, don't do that. Like,
Stick
it's,
to the comforts.
right?
Their
And-
Vertigo's really dropped off, Cloud9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Vertigo is hard. If
And that's
Nafany's
also-
having a hard time at A-Ramp,
Exactly.
then you're
Yeah.
fucked. You are big time fucked.
So who are we picking for this one?
I'm going to go Fnatic.
Oh.
Mate, earlier in the
Okay.
year, this team was fucking dog shit. I'm out there like
All right.
lighting them up.
I like
Khan's
it.
coming on my podcast to try and defend himself and talking in business loops for 2 hours. This team is actually back together, right? Like this team, I'm excited for this team. I was one of the original Fnatic fans.
I really like this Fnatic team too in terms of where they're headed and the kind of the roster they put together. I think it's super interesting. I'm taking Cloud9 for this one. I don't think I'm not quite as high on Fnatic as I think the rest of you guys are, but I think it's a very, very cool team and a very interesting project to see where it goes.
All right, Jack.
It's really hard. This one is like so hard for me to.
Chad's done.
Yeah.
Chad is
This
toast.
one's really hard for me to even pick, but I don't know. I have
Toss a
some.
coin.
I have some feeling, and I'm gonna pick Fnatic. Not because I think they're a much better team, or because I rate them highly, but because I think like Cloud9 is gonna.
They're not getting double
gonna.
digits.
Cloud9 is gonna lose this
They're
game.
not getting double digits.
Fnatic's not getting double
Cloud9
digits.
is gonna lose this game more than Fnatic is gonna win it.
Okay, so Cloud9 are choking.
No, Cloud9 is going to beat them like 16.
They've taken the liquid
7,
curse.
All right.
9.
And we have the pick'ems left.
We can do the pickups, yeah.
Chad?
Yeah, I can do
How
it.
long
yeah,
are we
yeah.
going on for, Jason?
Like
It's
an
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do the.
Hour and
Let's add the
20
pick'ems.
minutes.
It's fine.
Yeah, cool.
All right. So how do you want to do this? Everyone goes through the list themselves.
Well, I'm going to talk about my strategy first. I know you don't like
yeah,
the
the strategy first. Yeah, let's.
So
go.
I'm doing it like everybody else at home, right? Other than Yanko. I am not playing to get everyone right. I am just playing to
the
get
5.
enough correct.
Yeah.
And by getting enough correct, that means that the teams that I am selecting to go through are maybe teams that I think would go 3-0. Right? So my 3-0 team, as I mentioned, is Grayhound because everybody gets one gamble. And if no one's going to support Grey, everyone else put him 0-3. If the boy Chatty B doesn't support him, who the fuck will? So I get away with
My
that
man,
one.
yeah.
Right? I can have that one for free. My 0-3 team is IHC because they don't have any gear. And then the teams that I think are going to go through are
That's
Fnatic,
a good call.
Fnatic, Cloud9, Vitality, mouz, Outsiders, OG, and FURIA.
Okay.
Was that
You
all
have,
of them?
you have mouz in
I
there,
think so.
Yeah, because I'm playing it safe.
so you don't have either 00 Nation or Imperial, right?
No, but I'm not going to tweet this. But I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll put it in the tweet when I publish the broadcast.
Nice.
The podcast. All right, so that's pretty straightforward.
It's really safe.
right?
I'll
It's
say it
like-
one more time.
Yeah.
Fnatic, Cloud9, Vitality, mouz, Outsiders, OG, FURIA.
Wow, that's really the most
Safe.
standard. It's like, but when
It's
have you
very
ever?
safe.
That's a rookie mistake, Chad. When have you ever seen a stage go exactly as it's supposed to?
Wait, yeah, Grayhound are going 3-0.
All right. So let's just speed this up.
Come on, man. I just want to get the fucking coin. The pick'ems is the shittest
Why
way.
is the coin so important?
This is the thing. This is why pick'ems, if you're fucking listening, Valve, this is why pick'ems are shit. It's not about matchups. It's about people looking at 16 teams and going, this is my favorite team. I hope they get. It's not because we can't predict all the matchups. You cannot possibly. If it came, if
Yeah,
it,
but the average fan doesn't give a fuck about it. The pick'ems are for fans.
but that's why I'm doing it as
Okay.
the average fan
Alright.
would, and I
Great.
went the safest way.
But you're not an average fan, Chad. You're supposed to be better
I'm a
than
super
that.
fan.
All right, yeah,
What
go.
was the
Your
super?
pick'ems.
Where did super fans come from?
Super fans.
There was a super fan
fans.
thing. There was something.
I do remember that. I don't know what it was.
Super
Some-
fans. What the fuck is super fans?
Super fan. I just googled it.
It's like OnlyFans but premium.
Yeah, maybe that's where I've been getting my feet pics from. Yeah, I don't know what super fans is. It reminds me. Anyway.
Never mind.
I got nothing.
So I'm up next.
Well, what's your strategy?
My strategy is not to be a little bitch
Okay.
and chase the coin and like not to risk putting
Yeah,
a
go.
3-0 team that
Shut
might
the fuck
not
up.
be a
We've known you
3-0.
for like 8 years. All you've done is chase coin.
Hey.
All right. Jason's getting cranky as well. It feels like.
Well,
But
remember,
yeah.
it's 2 hours in the past.
Oh
so-
yeah. Just like the PGL stream.
Oh no.
But
Too soon.
Too soon. Yeah, I have Vitality as my 3-0 because I believe they can go 3-0. I think they'll beat Imperial in their first game.
Watch Fall and
nice
get in
little
that
momentum boost. Beat 2-0 after day one, and then beat whoever is in a best of 3 because they're just that good of a team. I have Grayhound as my 0-3
Boo.
because I think IRC has a decent chance of beating EG, and that's all it takes for them not to be an 0-3 team. While Greyhound, I give them as much chance against OG. After that, I have Outsiders making it. I have Fnatic making it. Cloud9, FURIA. I put 00 Nation in there.
Damn.
And how many do I need more? 2 more?
Yeah, sure.
It's 7, right?
It's seven,
and
yeah.
then
Seven and the 3-0.
So it's 9 you have to pick in total.
Yep.
This is where I was like torn on the last ones. I can't even remember what is in my pick'ems right now. I think I put GamerLegion in there,
Okay. That's saucy.
but I was really torn between them and 9Z. I wanted
Yeah.
to put one of the two teams.
But you can have both.
I know, but I think I put OG in there in the end as the like last team. And then it was I think there's going to be an upset like that, GamerLegion or 9Z, right? But I wasn't really sure So I went with GamerLegion, and they're playing in the first game against each other. So that was also. So I was
Defining
like,
factor.
who can win the first game? I feel like whoever wins that game out of those two teams is going to be the team that makes it like in the 3-2 game
Runs with the momentum.
or a 3-1 game, right? To get some good momentum. So it's tough. If I have to say it right now, I'll actually switch to 9Z. I'll put 9Z there.
Okay.
So Vitality 3-0, Grayhound 0-3.
Yeah.
Outsiders, 9Z, 0-0 Nation, OG, FURIA,
And you had Fnatic.
Cloud9, and Fnatic.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
That's right. That's 7.
it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So yours isn't as safe
Because
but
for me, man, it's like, I don't care, I just want to, if I believe in something, I want to,
oh yeah.
put it there with my predictions. And if I'm wrong, I'm
You're
wrong.
wrong.
But I'm not going to put teams that I don't believe in or not put teams that I think can make an upset because this is the safer and has a higher chance of happening. I am much happier when I make a prediction where like my team has a 30 chance to win, but the reasons that I think they will win pan out and they win the game.
But
that's much better for me than to just keep picking, the
But that's why I don't like PICKEMS.
That ain't
because
gonna
it-
get you a diamond coin.
I know, but I'm just talking also in general when
Yeah,
we do
yeah.
predictions.
Yeah.
It's like, in this game where I feel like I see something that maybe a lot of people don't, which is making me pick this team over the other. And if I turn out to be right, that's way more
Satisfying.
satisfying for me than just, in the, I don't know, Furia big, just picking Furia, right? Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But this is the conversation, right? Just quickly on predictions as a whole. Like when you're predicting a best of one, first of all, it's already a different kettle of fish within itself.
Yeah.
But like your prediction, and like you're saying, if you see something that it's against the norm, there's a reason for that. And one or two things happens. It either happens the way you think it happened, and you go, yeah, I said this would happen, and then it happened, and here's examples of how that happened. Or it didn't happen, and this is why it didn't happen, right? There's a thing as an analyst or as any pundit, the whole point is not to be right or wrong. If you're right, okay,
but
great.
the reasoning behind it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the
Have the-
rationale that you
Yep.
give. Any fucking dickhead can say, I think Team A or Team B is going to win. It's why.
So that's one of the things that I actually have to keep in check while on the desk when we do this. And, everyone likes to be right. And then people like maybe rub it in your nose a little bit, right? On the desk, it's all like showmanship and whatnot. But, dude, you just like what I said was going to happen. Like my reasons were there. They just kind of fucked up some things a little bit and lost the game. Like you just picked the team and team that was playing worse won, which sometimes happen, and then you're just rubbing it in my face like I was more right than you are. Like the result didn't pan out, but the reasons, and that's why I always hated about predictions when people just do it. But give me your reasons why you think this will happen, and then we can discuss like whether
Yeah.
that makes sense or not, and not just like the Anders thing. He just picks around a team because of for the sake of it. And
I
then
don't know,
the
monkeys
memes.
could do like a
For the
fucking
memes.
multiple choice thing, right? Monkeys do a fucking multiple choice
Yeah.
thing and they
Yeah.
can still get past. So that's telling you all you need to know. Like, this is 50-50. It's literally a coin toss. My predictions could be me tossing a coin every time, and I'm sure I'd be right.
And I'm not gonna lie,
sometimes.
it also makes it more fun for me to watch the games that way, right? Then
Well,
then you're
also
like watching.
You're
them-
invested.
You're really invested. Then you're like looking at every single detail. So.
It's fun too because if you have the rationale behind the prediction, they become your points for the post game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they become points either way.
Yeah.
Like, here's the great thing about it. It's like, if I really believe in this and I'm going to say it, and I think the team will do it, and then they do it and it works or it doesn't work, well, then I can explain it to you why it didn't work, or maybe this other team had great prep and great adjustments. Maybe my team kind of fucked up like a couple of nades here in a crucial round,
Yep.
or this or
Just-
that,
just
right?
do
And
me
it
a-
makes the segments more fun.
Do me a favor when you have your rationale and you lose a prediction on the desk. I want you to go on the desk and just turn to the person who got the prediction right when you got it wrong and say, "I was more right than you were with my wrong prediction." I want to hear that argument on the
Dude,
desk.
if I say that to Casada, for example, he'll have an aneurysm, right? His head's
It
gonna
won't
explode.
compute.
Yeah.
It just won't compute.
You might have got the prediction right, but I was more right.
All right, Jason, what's your pickups?
I have 9Z as my 3-0.
Yep.
I have IHC as my 0-3. Shout out to Grayhound.
Hey,
I don't do that.
look at this.
I don't do them dirty like that.
Yeah.
My team's going through. Bang out the easy ones. I have Furia going through. I have Outsiders. I have Vitality. I have Cloud9. I'm trying to think back. I put OG in there.
Two more.
I think I put Double O Nation in there.
Okay.
I think I put Double O Nation in there.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm with Yanko. I think I put GamerLegion in there as well.
Okay. So you're
I took a couple risks in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. Like, I think those teams, there's definitely good merit behind, right? It's not clear cut. Like I
Yeah.
think people think, oh, the 8 teams are clear. It's like, no, the 8 teams are not clear.
Dude, these pick'ems, I mean, as much as we joke and like they're not any kind of real barometer of how good you are at reading the game of Counter-Strike, but they're getting like more and more difficult each and every
which is
major.
good. It shows
Yeah,
the competitive nature,
absolutely.
right? That's what we want to see.
I mean, I spent some time on this and I was like shuffling teams around. I was like, holy shit, there's going to be some weird upsets in this.
I'm not gonna lie. The last 2 majors felt easier. Even this stage, like usually the challenger stage is the most difficult one to predict in the pick'ems up until the bracket in the end, kinda maybe. But yeah, this one feels more difficult, right? Like before, I felt that even if I missed the 3-0-0-3, like 5 out of the 7 teams, like there's almost no way that it doesn't pan out that way. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it fucking.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, like I think all of our contenders to actually go like mega deep in the major, well, not all of them, most of them are in the next stage anyway, right? Like we always have Sprout who slipped through, for example, right? But like the big conversation about FaZe Na'Vi, right? We need to see what type of form they're in. We're gonna do this on Friday.
Well, yeah, Friday's
Yeah.
the day between stages, so
Yeah.
we'll record another one.
And I assume we do more media that day as well.
Let's try to do it
Yeah,
earlier.
we
I
will.
want to get some steak on Friday. Brazilian barbecue, something.
There's
We can do it in the morning.
We got good recommendations.
We could do it in the morning.
We could do a breakfast one, yeah.
We could look. This setup can go pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, we're mobile.
Yeah,
Now,
as long as we have power.
and as long as we've done the tech right here. We're not audio people.
No,
Yeah.
I think we've proven that.
but we
I
can
feel
hear
like-
ourselves.
Yeah, this is. I feel like we're
That's a
gonna
change.
sound fine.
Unless the aircon is like picked up to. I heard the droning of the air conditioner.
we can edit that out. I like to think.
We can.
Fix it.
I
in
think I
post.
can.
Okay.
All right.
I could be.
You're
so
going to be
wrong
in charge of that.
I know. I could be really wrong.
But you need to go. You need to wake up early too.
Yeah, but I'll be fine. Just give me the info. It'll take. I think it takes like 15
All right.
minutes.
So we can also stop recording and then.
Well, are we
talk
done?
about this. Yeah.
Is there
Do we have
anything
anything else?
Anything else?
I'm just trying to think. Was there anything? Like, dude, was there anything we left? Was there anything that happened today? Was there any fun stories?
Fun stories.
Trace and I we're in the back seat of the van. We got thrown into the roof.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, you don't sit in the back seat of the van.
I put the seatbelt on after that.
Yeah.
What else
Sit in
happened?
the front. I grabbed the front seat on the way back.
The coffee here is pretty good.
I brought my own coffee.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little thing.
So you come to Brazil and you bring your own coffee.
Did it in Malta too. It was game changing. I can't do hotel coffee anymore. I'm too much of a snob.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We can't argue with that. I guess otherwise, that's it.
Yeah. Let's let chat go to sleep.
Goodbye, everybody.
Obrigado.
Bye.